Matt Newsom and Earl Crabtree alongside you. Let's crack on with the teams. Plenty of new faces in this Leeds Rhinos side. 8 debutants in total. A couple of familiar names. Jared O'Connor, the son of Terry, and James Harrison, the son of Rhino, Carl Harrison, quite aptly. We'll run through the team in full. Jack Walker is at fullback. Liam Tyndall, Rhys Evans, Alex Sutcliffe and Luke Briscoe across the three quarters. Jack Broadbent and Callum McClelland are a new half-back pairing. A pack of Adam Cuthbertson, Jared O'Connor, Brett Ferris in the front row, Bodine Thompson, Sam Walters and James Harrison in the back row. A bench of Corey Hall, Muz Mustafa, Louis McConnell and Harvey Whiteley. Well, Catalan Dragons, far more familiar lineup from Steve McNamara's side. Sam Tompkins is their fullback. Tom Davies, Artur Romano, Israel Folau and Fuad Yaha are their three-quarter line. James Maloney and Josh Drinkwater, the two half-backs. The pack, Julian Busquet, Michael McAlorum and Sam Mower. Huge front row there. A back row of Matt Whitley, Joel Tompkins and Ben Garcia. Pretty much full strength. Remy Casti, Jason Battieri, Artur Morg and Sam Cassiano complete the side. So good time to hear from our co-commentator this afternoon, former England prop, now the Huddersfield Giants club ambassador these days, Earl Crabtree. Great to have you alongside us, Earl. It is a little bit of a mismatch perhaps this game, but plenty of young players to look forward to. Yeah,
definitely. I think straight away you can see just by the numbers on the team sheet, which is a bit of a shock for me personally. I don't think I've seen numbers that high before. I mean, you've got Jack Walker, who's number 1, and the closest one to that is number 17. Above that, you've got numbers in the 40s. It's absolutely ridiculous to see this, but it should be an interesting game.
So we've got the floodlights on, but first of all, before we get underway, there will be a minute's silence for Ray Batten, who died last Wednesday at the age of 75. Member of that water splash Leeds Rhino side that won the Challenge Cup in '68. 5 times a Yorkshire Cup winner, a real fans' favourite here at Headingley. Also coach of Wakefield Trinity. There'll be a minute's silence in his honour. So Robert Hicks and the players stood with their backs to the south stand facing the north stand, and there will be a minute's silence for Ray Batten, York-born former Leeds Rhinos player. So a perfectly observed tribute there to Ray Batten, part of a famous rugby league family. Billy Batten, a wonderful servant of Hull FC, his son Billy Jr., who was of course Ray's dad, and Uncle Eric as well, part of the Indomitables tour in 1946. A wonderful rugby league family. Tributes there paid to Ray Batten, who died last Wednesday at the age of 75. We are almost underway here then at Headingley. Leeds Rhinos will kick us off wearing their shirts in honour of 130 years at Headingley. We'll have the 13 seconds for the knee as well, as both sets of players show their support and solitude towards rubbing out discrimination of all kinds, including those support for Black Lives Matter. So Leeds about to get us underway. Jack Walker almost false start there, wasn't there, Earl?
A little bit of excitement there really does, but they need a massive start here, Leeds, because I can just see the Catalan players ramping up here. Samoa taking the first drive in there. You expect some big carries from the big boys in the middle for Catalan, and it's just a case of the young lads using enthusiasm to just keep hold of them.
Across the round we've seen teams who do have an eye on the Challenge Cup, the semi-finals will be on the BBC this weekend, of course. There is that eye on those Challenge Cup semi-finals, so teams have had to rest players, but as we saw with Wigan, as we saw with Warrington, we might be seeing some future superstars here tonight.
Yeah, without a doubt, this is a great opportunity, and I think every team now has that opportunity to be able to play the younger players. It's a great chance, but it does worry me a little bit, because I do believe, as well as you're going to see some of the superstars, you're going to see some of these players only play maybe a couple of times, and you may never see them again. So this is their chance to step up and really show what they're made of. But also it makes it difficult to play in that team with a lot of youngsters against a senior side. It's very, very hard work, and sometimes very hard to stand up and prove yourself just because you're under the pump so much.
Earl Crabtree, prop, Huddersfield Giants, now club ambassador at the side. He served with such distinction. There are a couple of familiar faces in this Leeds side. That was one of them there, Adam Cuthbertson, off to York next season, of course. As Leeds ramp up through the middle. Jared O'Connor, who is the player who took that ball in, son of Terry O'Connor, of course. And we're talking about family lineage and the Batten family, and O'Connor, there's another O'Connor now making his way in the game. Cuthbertson trying to urge Leeds forward on the kick chase here. It's hoiked downfield by McClellan, looking to pin Catalan in the corner. It's gathered up by Fouad Yaha, and he's one of those outside backs, though. Quite a few of them around these days that really love their kick returns, really love to really ramp it up off the back line.
That's it, catching on the full. That's your easy meters. That's what you do. It's your bread and butter of your game, is get the ball forward, play the ball, but shoot those meters as well. Jermaine McGilvery, for instance, loves those ones. That is the meter maker. But it's a good set there from Leeds. They look really strong, enthusiastic, like we say, quick play the balls, and that's what they've got to do. They've got to keep in this game. The ball will be really slippy tonight, so the mistakes are massively important, but that means it's a good chance to get off the line, get into people's faces and hit shoulder on ball as well. But there you go, possibly a mistake there. It's gone back to zero.
And Leeds are on the back foot here as McAlorum goes steaming through. Tompkins, he was scragged at the last desperate attempt to stop him in full flight there, but Catalan have a really strong position now. Maloney, big cutout ball for Lau on this edge. He just steps inside Bodine Thompson. Leeds have recovered themselves though, back to the 10. Now Catalan pour forward again. Maloney just teasing his way along the line. Samoa, Busquet went through the line. So there's no calls for an obstruction here, but again Catalan have the shape. Away to that left side, Drinkwater out the back, tipped on by Tompkins. They'll take it through again, down that short side with Romano. Really throwing some shapes at Leeds early doors here. The kick was threaded by Drinkwater and plucked up by Cuthbertson, and a penalty goes Leeds' way on the back of it.
Great recovery there by Leeds, worked very hard. It was a strip in the middle of the field, it was 2v1 by the looks of it. The ball goes to ground, they pick up McLaurin through the middle with Sam Tompkins, and you see how far he slid across the floor. These are really tough conditions, but Leeds scramble well. They look really short actually on one of the sides earlier on, and that is going to become more important within the game as it goes on. There's fatigue. The younger lads need to be organised, they need to talk and get people in the right positions, but they get out of trouble there. A great play by Leeds, and they just need to get forward again now.
It's the Rhinos taking it through the middle of the park. As I say in their sort of third shirts tonight, having the special shirts with every player who's ever represented the Loiners on it. Who's come up with the ball here? Samoa tussling with it with Leeds. And it looks as though Catalan have come up with the ball. Jack Walker in the ruck. Penalty against Leeds. Catalan will gleefully mop that up, and I think that might be a tone setter for the game. It might be a little bit scrappy this one.
I think so. Again, it's a poor pass. It's actually Samoa. Samoa in the middle of the field is one of the big boys. So Catalan decides, I'm getting off my line here, I'm going to put pressure on the half-back. He does that, nails him, and the ball isn't perfect then to the next player. Drops on the floor. Samoa chases that back up and dives on it. Unfortunately, Leeds couldn't sort of keep hold of the ball, but that just shows the intensity, the size, the aggression of the Catalan team.
Garcia turns it back inside to Julien Busquet. They really are unloading here on Leeds as young O'Connor steps back into the line. McAlorum into Maloney. They're playing full throttle here, Catalan. That one was a little loose out the back. Recycled though by Romano on that left side. He's into contact just shy of the 10. They are showing their teeth here at the moment, Catalan. Ben Garcia, legs drive inside the 10, just to the left of those posts. as McElaurin scoops from acting half. He'll take it into the teeth. Samoa, will he be held out? Samoa might just have plunged in here. Held up, says Robert Hicks. Well, that must have taken some stopping. Brett Ferris, who's spring chicken himself. A try saver there.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's running probably the wrong person in that regard there, but Samoa runs at pace. Brett Ferris does really well to get his body underneath him, but Catalan looking so dangerous.
Maloney into the corner. Luke Briscoe takes that on the full. That's a 7-tackle set for the Leeds Rhinos, and Luke Briscoe wasting no time as he ramps up and takes that into contact, and Catalan will have to defend from deep inside the Leeds half here.
Poor kick, that awful kick. I don't know why he's gone high like that when there's no pressure, and it's Israel flower on that outside, but there's no chance of him getting there. It's a very poor kick, but you see straight away Catalan getting to the middle of the field and then shifting to the left, and the wingers actually from Leeds is shooting having to jam in because they're short of numbers. Now if they get the heads up, Catalan will probably put a little kick behind him at some point, so they've got to be wary of that, but Catalan looking dangerous, and Leeds again defending well and hanging on.
Muscling up through the centre, James Harrison, as we're saying, son of Carl. There's some lineage on the pitch at the moment. McClellan has spotted that space in behind. He's popped that kick through it, perfectly bounced there. Tom Davies had to track it, had to take it, and immediately the chase was on.
Brilliant set, well orchestrated into the corner, controlling the game. That's the best place to pin them in their own 10. The problem is Catalan have got such good carriers of the ball. They're getting out quite easy, making decent meters, but this is where they need to restrict them and get the ball in decent territory.
Third Yoha's turn. Outside backs getting involved in this set. Maloney thought about the kick in behind. Set restart has handed Catalan another fresh set. 40 out from their own post. This is a good position. Leeds feeling the heat already in terms of that intensity we were talking about. Garcia through the centre.
I suppose as a Leeds player you kind of hope as a coaching staff as well that they take it too easily in this game and not work and get the rewards that they deserve and push passes and things like that and do the things that they wouldn't normally do. But the quality of player can't see it happening.
Moa onto the pass, beautifully timed. Garcia, can they stop him? Ben Garcia, has he taken that tonight? Is that another try saver? Yes, it is. Well, that looked a certain try because the pop pass sent Moa through a hole, and it looked as though odds on a Catalan score. We've got to credit the defensive work there. Scrambling back in the end, Jack Broadbent.
Fantastic defence there, working really hard, quick reach over. That's a soft play in the middle of the field. The prop should not be steaming through. Samoa's having the game of his life at the moment. He's absolutely killing it, making breaks, almost scoring with the sticks. But Leeds are doing it tough. They can't just keep hanging on like this.
Last tackle, Whitley went for the crash ball. Loves to play off that left edge, off the half-back. It was Drinkwater who pushed the pass to him that time. It squirted out. Soggy ball, slippery pill.
I think that's what you're hoping for, aren't you? Obviously, you can see the bottom corner that is held up under the sticks. That's the second time in maybe just as many sets where they've actually been held up over the line under the sticks. But Catalan guilty of pushing the play there because the problem is now they're seeing opportunities absolutely everywhere. Instead of actually just taking a play at a time, making sure they get to the sticks and then putting on the plays, they can see gaps everywhere, and that's the problem. Samoa driving the ball in here. He only knows one way forward, it's straight through the middle. But Leeds are doing well. They're nullifying the effect by just working hard for each other, and that is what the younger lads, fit, enthusiastic, working hard. But they need to control the game themselves at some point because they are hanging on.
So 9 minutes gone. Brett Ferris into the attack for Leeds, up over halfway. O'Connor finds Cuthbertson. They've got shape on this left side, but Catalan, the slide speed was really good there. They were up off the line, shutting McClellan down. O'Connor will take contact in the almost on the tram line's left-hand side. Daniel Thompson offering a bit of experience now. McClellan teasing his way through, goes out the back in turn. Broadbent gets it onto Walker. Reece Evans down that right side now for the Rhinos. Up over the 20. Interacting half again. Walker has followed the play across to that far side. Broadbent will roll the kick in behind. Sam Tompkins just begging for it to go dead. It did in the end. But Leeds putting a bit of pressure on them.
Yeah, they're playing some nice plays out there on the edges. The kick in the end is poor, and I think that's a massive part of this part of the game because they need that. to make sure that they actually restrict the meters from Catalan, because the more they're doing this, the more they're defending, the harder it's going to be to hang on and stop Catalan from scoring. That's a great set again. They're getting into some good position, and on the edges they do look dangerous.
Busquets pops a little offload out. McAlorum, they love to play off the second phase here, Catalan. Joel Tompkins scored a length of the field try in a Challenge Cup final for Wigan against Leeds. Now he's a Catalan player. Maloney spotted a gap, almost spliced his way through it. Good scramble in the end from McClelland and Harrison. Into centre field now with Garcia. Catalan moving forward again with a little menace. As they're up to the 20. McAlorum onto Drinkwater. Will he go for the kick? Plays out the back. Tompkins. Again the soft hands. Again the late pass. This time it forces an error.
It's a great read by Leeds there. They're actually short of players, so they only had 4 players with a late retreat going back to that side. So that's why they attack the left-hand side again. So they're getting to the 50, the middle of the field, and relying on them making the numbers wrong. On that occasion, they had 4 defenders. That meant they were 1 short. As a skip across, the wingers had to do it again by jamming in to make sure he gets to one of those attackers. Sorry. The kick probably would have been the right option again there. But what's happening is Catalan are pushing these players and there's no need for them. They need to keep hold of the ball and wear them down. But they look so dangerous and so many attacking options, but they're just making mistakes at the moment at Catalan. Leeds again hanging on.
Thanks for Catalan. It's a no-win situation. If they hammer Leeds, everyone says, well, you should have done. If they don't, everyone says, well, why didn't you hammer Leeds? So a tough one, I guess, in a sense. But that, again, it will show the professionalism within the team, won't it?
Yeah, I think it's a different test for you, and it's a test of probably composure, during the game and making the right decisions, because you do get these opportunities. But if you try and take every literal opportunity where you think there's a gap, it doesn't work like that. You make more mistakes pushing more passes.
Tompkins went for Walker there. So the little sidestep just took him away from the chasing back rower. Harrison. Big cart through the middle that time. Last tackle for Leeds. Down the short side they come. McLennan will just scud it into touch on this near side. Turning Catalan round, making them play out from their own end. Still 0-0.
Love that. A really, really good play. Smart, composed, into the corner. Slow it down to your tempo. This gives you an opportunity. Down scrums, but it doesn't make a difference. You still get plenty of time here to get your line set, jam your line in a little bit, make these young lads get off of the line and actually get into the faces of the big boys.
So Cuthbertson at marker and Bodine Thompson, but the line is set there. You can see the intent. He needs to get up here once we resume play. Sam Moore just receiving a bit of treatment in back play. We're back underway again though now. That's the charge ball from Israel Folau. In off the touchline, another slow ruck brings a penalty, or should I say a set restart on this occasion for Catalan. So another 6 to come. Moa, bump and spin from him. McAlorum just has a little scoot to his left to see what options he's got available. Busquets there, hits a flat ball. Making Meters. Strangely muted atmosphere, of course, Headingley. Empty. It was hoping to be part of the test pilots, but just have to be a little patient. So Tompkins from acting half. Maloney's just peeled away to this short side. Tompkins has set off on a run. Good footwork, almost took him through the line. We're up to the last now, 40 metres out from the Leeds post. In centre field, Tompkins playing for a penalty there, wasn't getting one. Brett Ferris involved that time. Maloney curls the ball off his boot. Walker watches it. It's a really awkward take just with the weather conditions, and Jack Walker did well, but he was forced back there with the first carry.
It's a lot better set defensively by Leeds there. They controlled the ruck really well, and even though they give away those penalties, and they've given away, I think, in the last 2 defensive sets, it's gone back to 6. But I love a little breakaway there on the edge. Got to keep away from that sideline, but Leeds looked more in control. I wouldn't be bothered about giving away one of those penalties now and again, simply because you're controlling and slowing the ruck. That is more important. Push the referee on it. I'd be testing him all the time.
Let's see what his boundaries are. Cuthbertson through the middle, up over the 40-metre line. Quarter of an hour gone here. Now Headingley is the kick in behind for McLennan to split the fullback and winger. Davis was back there to gather. We shall see what this former Wigan man can do as he looks to go on the outside of the Leeds defence. It was scramble there from Briscoe. And his centre partner, Alex Sutcliffe.
It's another decent set there, offensively by Leeds. Catalan, they're holding them quite comfortably, really. You know, at least Leeds are not making mistakes. They put the ball down into between players, which gives them plenty of space, but they look dangerous coming back there. Leeds have just got to keep their heads up and, you know, not switch off for a second. As soon as you switch off, that's when they'll break through.
McAlorum always aware, drink water, shape to pass, delayed it. Tompkins takes the pass from Maloney. It was almost one of those, just a little delayed pass in the back row, hits a line back on the inside, but Maloney will kick on the last here. Bodine Thompson applied a bit of pressure. It will hang down just in front of the goal line, so it makes Jack Walker work to get off his line. The ball has been spilled. Falau has picked it up here for Catalan. They've turned the ball over in a really promising position. Now McAlorum to Tompkins. Tompkins along the line. They've jammed in again. There's got to be a try here. No, it's gone loose. Oh, it's going to be knocked down forward by Leeds. It was a try-saving effort, but they had really stripped them of numbers on that left edge, and that should have been a try.
All day, that should have been a try. And again, this is Catalan, but what about that? He's just jammed in. This is what I said about the winger. They know they've shot, so the only thing they can possibly do is just jam in on the man on the ball. So they've done that, and he's got two players outside of him. Unfortunately, they can't get the ball out quick enough. Reece Evans actually reads the play, reads the pass, and he runs and jams on the pass, and that is the key to this.
Here comes Samoa. They're working over time at the moment, this Leeds defensive line. As McAlorum hovers. McAlorum delays the pass. Drinkwater. They've come a little bit flat here, Catalan. Leeds scramble again. Reece Evans flies into the hit. They've left a little bit of a gap in behind the ruck though there. Ben Garcia will try to exploit it as he takes Catalan forward to within 5. The line beckoning. McAlorum's got plenty of runners to aim at. He goes short to Busquets. Busquets, has he been held up once again? Just trying to see Robert Hicks's call here. Yes, he has. He'll have to go back to that 10-metre line. There'll be some burning lungs in that lead side. Can they hold out again? This time it's the low grubber from Maloney. Oh, it's rustled dead. That time by... I think it was Lee Briscoe, wasn't it, who got to it in the last, but leads to drop out from under their own sticks here.
Ugly set by Catalan there. I think they've been a bit disrespectful to the Leeds team here. They're not working for it. I think every player they think they can score, and that isn't the right mental attitude to have to this. Work hard, get to your points, and try and get your play set up. They just look all over the place. That kick at the end though is absolutely nailed on. That's brilliant, because this gives you the chance now to reset, regather, Samoa steam the ball in, then look to maybe get to a point after this, so maybe back under the sticks or to one of the posts, and then put on your edge option.
Such Cliff a disservice there. It was his tackle, his intervention, should have said, which denied a try for Joel Tompkins. But Catalan knocking on the door again. Up to the 10, Maloney. Drinkwater out the back, nice shape. Cut out ball, picks out Davies. He's got plenty to do. Steps back on the inside. That is a sublime try. And Catalan Dragons take the lead. It's taken them almost a quarter of the game to get the first points. But it was a slick move, and Davies finishes brilliantly, and it's Leeds 0, Catalan 4.
I didn't want to say that I just predicted exactly what just happened, but I actually did. Samoa steams one in, and then they go to the left-hand side with Busquets to try and get down the outside to get to a point, and then they shift it back again with a play on the outside. All the difference was this time is that the Leeds team were actually more backing up and didn't go early enough to jam in. Unfortunately, you've all got to go at the same time, but on the pass. You get a little bit lucky there because Falau just tips the ball on, and then I think it's a bit of a poor defensive effort in the end. The ball out wide, Tompkins, good hands, Falau, he jams in at the right person at the right time. He just doesn't get anything. You've got to either get the ball or get the man, and he gets neither, unfortunately. And it's good footwork back on the inside to score a try, but that was a lot better set-up play. That's what they've been needing to do for a while, is just build into it, get to your points of the field, set your players up, and good hands out wide.
James Maloney just in dialogue with Robert Hicks. You can see from the hairline of James Maloney just how sodden it is out there at the moment. Rain continuing to tumble down on an empty Emerald Headingley as Catalan take on their water. There's an inquest behind the posts for Leeds, and a kick to come from Maloney. taking his time, as he has, as is his wont, and he has bent that one in. A fine kick from the right touchline for James Maloney, and it's a 6-0 lead for Catalan, and Leeds have finally been breached after some really spirited work at the back.
Yeah, they made it look easy in the end. It's just a really good play. I mean, they've worked hard towards the middle of the field and looking like they're going to score under the sticks, but it's actually a set-up play out wide with Sam Tompkins out the back, who finds a bit of space, and the pass, a little bit of luck and skill from Folau there. The ball was on, the defensive read was right, but didn't execute it right. So Leeds have been hanging on for quite some time, and then Catalan actually probably got a little bit more depth. Maybe that's the key here. Because the Leeds team are jamming from the edges, that means that the Catalan team probably need to take an extra step back, get deeper to give them that split second longer.
Well, Crabtree, the analysis as Catalan lead by 6-0. Sam Moa will take this pass off the kick-off. Bundles into Mustafa, who's just come on. Interchange for the Leeds Rhinos. Had a little spell at Newcastle Thunder last season. And he is wearing a Leeds Rhinos shirt for the second time. So Catalan to 30 inside their own half. Attack down that short side with Matt Whitley. That's a really committed challenge there from Sam Walters, former Widnes man, 6'5", putting himself about. As I was saying, this could be the one chance that some of these players get. They are looking to make the most of it and really try and stick it to some experienced names. Maloney being one of them, and he has spotted that space in behind. Good scramble back from Liam Tyndall to gather it, and he will look to try and get Leeds on the front foot, but this surface isn't a kind one for somebody looking to try and unsettle a defender with footwork.
No, luckily what they do have is speed. It gets them out of a little bit of trouble. Speed will get you out of trouble at times, but not all the time. Unfortunately, as I said before, it was Jack Walker that makes a mistake in the number one, and that is what's going to cost them here. But defensively, it's still looking strong. You know, they don't look. It's not like some of the games we've seen before where it's been against boys. They're very evenly matched. It's just whether they can continue that and keep it going, because they're working so hard for each other. Catalan do look comfortable there.
Bit of fatigue for these two sides. Certainly for Leeds Rhinos with their inexperienced core tonight. McClelland again with a clever kick, just snicks off Robert Hicks, and Tompkins is able to gather on his own 20. Aha looking to go on the outside there, but Leeds in the shape of Leeds Evans, who's done some really good defensive work already. Romano spills the ball in contact. Knock on, says Robert Hicks. Defensive win there for Leeds, right up in the Catalan half. And some field position.
That's just what they needed. You could see then, and we're just looking at the way they're getting back on side. And one of the key things to pick up is when the kick goes long, he's seeing how quickly the offense get back on side. Leeds lads were starting to walk back on side, really struggling, whereas Catalan were getting the ball 30-40 out, so they only had to walk a short distance back, which means they save energy. That mistake, that tackle, forced error by Leeds is just what they needed.
McClelland drops it off to Bodine Thompson. Came back against the grain. McClelland, I should say O'Connor, into Mustafa, who puts the bumpers up. Into gaining a bit of ground here. Moving into a dangerous position. McClelland will play. No, he won't. He'll dummy. Nice little dummy. Almost took him through. Poked his nose through there. And so Connor finds Cuthbert. So we know what a ball player he can be, but it's sheer bulk on this occasion to move Leeds to almost within 10. Centre field, they'll come out the back, will they, through Ferris. Ferris onto McClelland, delays the pass, short ball to Sutcliffe. Crocodile rolled down there by James Maloney. He's got to peel away from the ruck. Bodine Thompson infield to McClelland. The hurried kick, was that knocked on by Whitley? Yes, it was. Leeds have forced another error. And look at the position here, actually. They haven't, because it's a penalty that's gone Catalan's way. And so all the optimism has just drained, but they will take something from that, won't they? They put some pressure on.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. You have to build pressure, and they never look like scoring there. Every time they attacked, especially on the left edge there, Catalan had the right numbers. They hadn't broke them down. They hadn't forced them into a position where they were struggling. That's because Catalan haven't had to defend their own line, so they've got loads of energy, and you need to sort of wear them down a bit so they make mistakes. That was perfect, that pressure there, but offside. unfortunately, it's one of those, you know, they haven't got away with it, but it's great play by Leeds, working hard, putting under pressure, and it will come if they keep doing that.
And your lungs are burning. The last thing you want to see is Sam Cassiano building up a head of steam, clattering forward into you, up towards halfway. Battieri as well, he's never takes a backward step either, so that's the difference tonight as well, isn't it? That if there was a mismatch in terms of the starting 13s, Catalan have got the heavyweight bench as well, and they are coming forward with some aplomb here. Falau almost skipped on the outside, but wrestled to the ground eventually. They're inside the 20. Now Tompkins, Sam Tompkins that is, drops it off to Cassiano. Oh, that was a lovely play. Just sleight of hand there from Tompkins. They'll come down the short side. Maloney, big booming ball to Davis. Brushes aside the defender. Did he get that down? Robert Hicks says yes he did. That's another try for Davis, who's in red hot form. That's now 8 tries in 6 games. And they're starting really to take control of this one. Catalan Dragons lead by 10 points to 0 with the kick to come.
I personally thought that was the wrong decision, that ball. I thought it needed to go to Falau, who just walks over the line. He's an absolute freak of a player, by the way, and I love to see him get the ball more often because he's so dangerous. If he gets that, he just literally walks over. And then I think it's just a poor tackle, a really poor tackle. There's no way he should have scored that try. He's right in front of him, it's a one-on-one, he makes good contact with him, and then just, it does more of a shoulder edge. He doesn't step, it's just great strength. He just puts his bumpers up, sets himself solid. He doesn't try and score in the corner, he just bounces off him and then comes back on the inside. I think that's just a one-on-one miss, and there's nothing more to it. They did so well to hang on in that set after Cassiano's just making his barnstorming carries. They deserved more from it. They just needed to make sure they tackled right at the last minute.
So Leeds missed the tackle out on the edge. Luke Briscoe, and it comes at a cost. Second try for Catalan. And Maloney again given a tough ask from the touchline. He's kicked goals in State of Origin, he's kicked goals in Test matches for Australia. This won't faze him as he lines up the kick, and there's that eerie silence which we get these days. And he's scraped that one across the face, so no goal there from James Maloney to add to the try, but it's still a 10 points to 0 lead. But if you'd have said to Richard Agar with almost half an hour gone, you'll only be 10 points down, what do you think he would have said at that point?
I think he'd be pretty impressed. I think simply because they haven't been broken down in a way where it's just become so easy for the Catalan team. They made them work for absolutely everything. They made them work for that try on the last tackle, and still should have done better off the back of it. They've held them out loads of times, held them up over the line, and actually are competing. That is confidence. That is a mistake though. This, I'd be absolutely spewing with that. That is one of those ones where, you know, you're under the pump, you're 10-0 down, and they kick the ball out on the full, and Cassiano, really smart, straddles the back line, and that's something obviously taught as a prop, and he's the biggest prop in the world as well, so you've got to get that kick perfect, otherwise he's catching that on the full.
Yeah, Catalan back to the middle, penalty. Another chance to backpedal Leeds towards their own line. They will walk them back. And those Rhinos youngsters, one of the things we noticed from the games, the Warrington and Warrington game against Salford, and of course the Wigan Saints derby, is that the difference in how younger players face adversity, how they take on adversity. You kick down the full, you concede a try. So without the experience of kind of having tons of games under your belt, sometimes that can start to get to you. You begin to book it.
I think that does happen. It depends on the mentality of the player and who they've been around, but it's actually, I think now it's under fatigue. I mean, can you continuously keep doing it?
Tompkins looking to creep back on the inside. They stopped him on that occasion. Thompson and Cuthbertson, the senior players, working overtime alongside these young tyros, working hard as best they can. It was Cassiano that time. They've got numbers again. Oh, it's been picked off by Rhys Evans. Has he got the gas to get away? He's got support outside of him in the shape of Liam Tyndall. He might not need it, because Rhys Evans, with a pickpocket job, has got Leeds right back in the game. We talked about character. We talked about whether they could fight it under adversity. There's your answer. Leeds Rhinos 4, Catalans 10 with a kick to come.
suddenly that changes the game all over again, and it's great play from the middle of the field, and it's a good read. This is what Leeds have done throughout this game so far, is knowing that they're on the back foot, they know they're in danger and know they're in trouble, so what they've been doing is jamming from the wings, jamming from the outside in, which is what you've got to do. And man played up left on the floor, he reads it, it's a poor pass though. Again, it's a soft play by Catalan when all you need to do is put the ball to hand and they'll probably walk over. We were saying before the game, looking at the Warrington team the other night, as the game went on under fatigue, simple tries were scored, and that's because they were fatigued. That's because they're not used to being put under that sort of adversity, that sort of pressure in that situation. You've got to make them work so hard for it. Whereas Leeds, they're standing up to it, and Catalan are probably again not showing that respect that Leeds deserve.
Yeah, penny for the thoughts of Steve McNamara right now. They are still in front, of course, and they will be still in front. But he's a man, he's a head coach, isn't he? Who will demand? He's an exacting man. Let's say that he will demand much of his Catalan players. And whilst I'm sure there was no sense that this was going to be a gimme,
it's a bit of a bad tackle that as well. It's Cassiano Mustafa. He's just gone straight over the top of him and just crushed him. It's like a crusher tackle from the offensive player. Sort of bent him in half. It was absolutely awful. And I think he's probably a bit of, I don't want to be disrespectful, he's put his head in the wrong place. But a guy that size, it's just so difficult. You do anything to stop him. And that looked ugly.
Yeah, we're going to have another look at it here. So Maloney onto the short ball. And yeah, as you say, he's got his body. He's been flipped by just the sheer momentum, hasn't he?
Yeah, he puts his body, spreads his legs, so he's planted his feet, and then he's put his right shoulder and his head to the wrong side, where he's just gone over the top of him. He's just thinking, I just need to stop this guy, and sometimes that's what you've got to do. He has put his head to the wrong side. For me, he needs to hit him from the left side, and that would stop that. But he stopped the tackle, stopped the runner. They didn't score off the back of it, and then off the back of that, they've gone and scored themselves. So he's done well there.
Yeah, Mustafa back up on his feet, thankfully. There would have been some concern amongst the Rhinos group for a young player, Nigeria born. Leeds Rhinos have high hopes for him, England Academy player as well. And so Jared O'Connor. I don't know whether his dad had a penchant for kicking, but he's something he's developed himself. You can't, as they say, everyone's just a clone of their fathers, aren't they? So Jared O'Connor from the tee then, just to bring Leeds within 4 points into the Western Terrace, into somebody's back garden behind the Western Terrace. And with around about 10 minutes to play in this first half, our clock is just a little ahead. The timekeepers have the correct time, which we can see here in the stadium. So 10 minutes to go. Leeds are right back in the contest, and thankfully Mustafa is okay on the back of that tackle, and Rhys Evans has had plenty of time to get his breath back after a lung buster.
Yeah, I mean, if you're defending us in it like that, and it's just sort of not really structured, it's just seeing what's in front of you, seeing the pass and actually running on it. It's great play, it's natural instinct. You probably wouldn't coach it like that, but when you're under these circumstances where everything's being thrown at you, you have to do something to disrupt the play, and that is what they're doing so well. And that'll give them confidence. It'll give them that belief in themselves that they can go on to do something in this game.
Funny to think, isn't it? That came off the back of a kick out on the foot from a restart. So they really have muscled up here. 10 points to 6. And Leeds looking to wrap things up again. Bodine Thompson, the line speed there was almost non-existent. He had plenty of space to run into. Caught Catalan almost flat on their line. McLennan thinks about the kick. In fact, he does get the kick away. Another terrific kick into backfield, even on this slippy turf. That's going to hold up in the in-goal, and that is a marvellous piece of play from the Leeds Rhinos.
As good a kick as you'll ever see that. Just literally from his own half, and he's just pinpointed it right into the corner, and it's only about, a foot off the back line. Unbelievable skill from the Leeds team, but look at the position now. Get some line speed up here, and suddenly, if I'm McNamara, I'm questioning the mentality of my Catalan team here, because they're playing, I don't like to use the word, but they are playing pretty soft, and you can't do that in any game of Super League.
They've got the ball back on the back of that, but they are being made to toil in their own half here. Cassiano even tries to get them on the front foot. They are on the last tackle here. They will have to kick from inside their own 40. Maloney gives that ball some air, but it's an easy claim inside his own 20 from Walker. He'll be up to the 30 before the wall of red shirts finally collars him. And a few Leeds players moving back into the line, but you would expect that. It's been a telling pace, and the outside back stepping up as well. Liam Tyndall there just carting one in.
Yeah, I think if the teams go toe-to-toe, if they go like this, with no errors, it's Catalan that should come out on top, simply because of the players that they've got. Now, I think Leeds want to use that enthusiasm and make sure that Catalan make mistakes. That's what they're relying on, is errors from the Catalan team and making the most of it and taking advantage of it.
McClellan plays nicely out the back on the inside for Broadbent. Walker cutting a huge hole, cutting a swathe through the defence. Stopped on the last here, 10 metres away. They've got shape on this right side. McClellan out to Thompson. Tries the grubber, hacks it on again. Oh, he's missed it, Tompkins. Oh, it's deemed a knock on by Robert Hicks here. And that was some sensational off-the-cuff play there.
It's a lovely inside ball there to walk. I think it's... I mean, they've done a number basically on the Catalan team. The referee hasn't seen that. He's got a player in the line which basically has blocked the inside guy. It's a nice play. It's totally illegal, but it was actually a good play. They caught the referee out there. He hasn't worked back on the inside. It's lovely shape. They go back and they kick back to the left-hand side. It's Bodine Thompson. It looks like he's put a little kick in. I think he's just dropped it. But very close, and Sam Tompkins makes an error there on the try line. Luckily gets away with it. Some big players there. Leeds are ramping up here. This is great to see.
Yeah, they're really putting some shots in. Battieri felt one there. Israel Folau being used as a weapon through the centre, but Cuthbertson showing no respecter of authorities and reputations on that occasion. Cassiano knocks on. They've just got a set restart. Cassiano, I don't know whether he was looking for an offload or just a loose carry. That is a criminal from a player of his experience. 6 to go.
And that is the issue at the moment. He's taking the ball in. He doesn't look like he's just shoulder to the ball. Wet weather, this is what I talked about before. Make contact with the ball and knock it out. They've got to have more ball security there. That's just a mistake, and this is what we've been talking about. This is great for Leeds now. What an opportunity right at the back end of this half to actually get some more points on the board.
Some heroic efforts so far. Game certainly not done with yet. Just 5.5 minutes away from half-time here. That heading lead as Leeds apply some squeeze through McClellan, and that's really good defensive work this time from a Catalan side who feel that they haven't given their best account so far. O'Connor into Cuthbertson. Arcs his run. In fact, he sped up there as he went into the defensive line. He certainly was looking to take them on. Cuthbertson's not happy about something. I think it might spark something here.
Adam, stay where you are.
Everyone's piling in. It all stemmed from Cuthbertson. He didn't seem to like something that went on in that last tackle. But at the moment, it's a pile of bodies.
It's great to see the Leeds lads ripping in there. And I'm saying this from a senior sort of player point of view. All these boys sticking up for each other. And I know this is an aspect of the sport we don't want to see, where it's, getting into each other, fighting, but it's good to see boys getting onside and working hard for each other. And McLaurin, I think, probably in the middle. Very unlike him. I wouldn't have expected that from McLaurin. Not known as a niggly player at all. But it's something enough in that. It's something for the fall. We play a tough game. It is a tough game. These things do happen. I don't think there's much in it. And hopefully they can just crack on. So again, this is a great chance for Leeds. But I expect a couple of big shots off the back of this.
Well, put it this way. Tom Davies is being brought to the attention of Robert Hicks. Whether it's because he came piling in from the other touchline, pretty much. And either way, Robert Hicks wants a word.
The thing was all calming down by the time you managed to run across the field, jump on top of somebody. You don't need you running from over there. It was bad enough having to deal with 24 men. When you come in, the other two as well, you've got to stay better than that.
You have to be a bit of a lip reader, even with this quiet ground from here.
The penalty. The foul play, mate. At the leg.
It's penalty.
At the leg. At the leg, mate. At the leg. Well done.
Leeds Rhinos. So Catalan Dragons with some more defending to do. McClellan tops it up in turn to Cuthbertson, finding his front. Joel Tompkins there, and Battieri looking to shut down the play. Mustafa. You can hear the smack. You can hear the slap of bone on bone almost here. McClellan, short ball onto Thompson. Oh, he tried to pop the offload up, but hit the deck and the tackle was called held. They're 10 metres away here, Leeds. Set restart for the Rhinos as well. Edging towards half-time. They are throwing some punches at Catalan here, metaphorically, of course. McClellan, inside, it goes to Cuthbertson. 10 metres out centre field. They've found a point. They've got options left and right here. Ferris is winding up for one. Ferris will take it in, maybe play out the back. Drifts across field. Oh, and they've been pulled up here.
He's run behind his own man there, but you've got to give credit to Catalan. From that instance of the fighting before and a little bit of a scrap and a penalty, Catalan just... the intensity just rose a level where they wanted to bang people. I love that. That's what they're good at. The big aggressive team rip into people and force them into tough positions. Where they don't like it on the floor and where it does hurt. But the play where they got to the point, which is Cuthbertson, it's just a bit slow. You can't really create much space. But now Catalan, they look like a different side all of a sudden. It's good to see from their perspective, and this is what McNamara would have wanted, a response.
They certainly found their fire in their bellies, the Dragons. Battieri plays short of the line to Cassiano. Motoring forward, they're into the 30 almost here. McAloran back to Battieri, will play out the back in turn. Drinkwater onto Tompkins. Tompkins slips back on the inside. Looking to have that shifting defence. Try and catch them off guard. They shuffle back well there, Leeds. Drinkwater. A shimmy and a shake. Now onto Tompkins. Folau looking to go on the outside here. Folau back on the inside with a little flick to Davies. Davies crabs across looking for a runner. He had one there in Cassiano, who just seemed to maybe overrun that one. Last tackle for the Dragons. They're just inside the 10. McAloran, Drinkwater. The space is in behind. The kick has been dabbed dead by Tyndall. It'll be a goal line dropout with 2 minutes 50 and counting in this first half.
Probably the best I've seen Catalan play in this first half there. Absolutely solid, composed, no mistakes, and even when they could have probably pushed the pass a little bit more, they didn't. Great play by them. Again, defensively, Leeds not so much hanging on. I thought they were really composed there, did really well. Just a solid set by both teams. But Catalan now get another chance here. Son will ramp it in one of the big boys. They try and keep it away from Cassiano. Probably don't hit it straight to him. But he'll ramp up, get to a point, and then they'll be looking to attack here. More points on the ball for Catalan.
30 metres away, centre field, a slow rook, no call from Robert Hicks that time. Battieri really playing with pace. He charged onto that ball. They're up to the 20 on the tram lines, left side. McAloran, now Maloney, maybe pushing one back on the inside. Instead he takes the tackle and they're up to the 10. McAloran again. Now Drinkwater, they've got so many numbers and they still can't find a way through. Evans again involved with a defensive effort. They'll come down that short side. Drinkwater forced back. They had the numbers, but they just could not find the gap. Last tackle. Back to the 10 they'll go. Maloney trying to hoist that one under the crossbar. Tompkins came a long way. Tompkins tries to keep it alive for Lau. Bounce pass to Davies. A first half hat-trick is that for Tom Davies. Robert Hicks gives the try. Catalan straight before the break. A minute and a half to play. And how crucial could that be? Catalan get a bit of daylight. 14 points to 6. And Tom Davies in at the corner again.
Catalans were made to work for that try. Again, it comes down to the last tackle. The kick to the right side, knocked down. It's actually Sam Tompkins who leaped above everybody. Manages to get his hands on the ball. Gets taken to ground. It looks like he's tackled, but he just manages to get the ball away again. Flower with a really scruffy pass. It's good defence again there by Leeds. They just can't do enough for Davis in the corner. But Leeds working hard. Catalan having to work that extra bit harder just to make sure they score a try. Great play by Sam Tompkins.
Absolutely, he came in, didn't he? It was almost like something out of the NBA. You know, he's been teed up for a dunk. He's come in from a mile out, gathered that, got there first, kept the ball off the ground, and in the end, Davies, who's been terrific since joining from Wigan, gets the hat trick.
Does well to pick that ball up as well. It goes at some speed across the floor. But Rhys Evans, I think, on their right, Leeds' right, has defended absolutely everything. He's making the right reads. I think he's guessing a couple of them. He's just thinking stuff it, let's go for this. And he's just trying to jam plays and just disrupt the play. And he's done so well. And I think they're a bit unlucky in there, but some great skill from Sam Tompkins to create the try.
Yep, they needed something special. 13 seconds, the clock's been stopped as the kick goes from this near side touch line, and it's good from James Maloney, who in tough conditions has nailed it once again. 16-6 here, and that will take it up to 18 with that kick. No, it was 10-6, wasn't it? So 16-6. Can't read my own writing, which helps, doesn't it? So 16-6 at the halfway stage. Crabtree leads Rhinos trail, but they have very much so kept them, made themselves in this game and done themselves proud to.
Yeah, I think if you're walking off the pitch now, I think the Catalan players will be actually disappointed with their performance the majority of that half. They haven't just been quite on it. I think they've been, I've said it a couple of times, disrespectful. And what I mean by that is not earning the right to do certain things within a game. Pushing offloads, pushing passes, these little tip-ons, and thinking they can score at every opportunity. You still need to wear the opposition down. Leeds have just worked hard all the way through that half. They worked hard for each other, enthusiastic, and some great reads on the edges. Rhys Evans, for instance, or the intercept and blocking a couple of tries. Brett Ferris over the line. They've done really well to hang in there, which is a worry in itself, but also it's a great sign for these young lads, and I think they've put a spirited effort so far, and I think going off the pitch they'll be proud of that performance.
So half time at Leeds Rhinos 6, Catalan Dragons 16. So let's have a look at some of those first half highlights. We saw the Dragons spur into life. McAlorum always such a threat, and a couple of the try savers as well here, Earl.
Yeah, and it's actually Brett Ferris who gets his body in the way and almost gets run over the top of, but gets his body underneath, which is great play by him. And the big boys look like they could score some tries. They look so dominant in the middle of the field. And maybe the options were out wide, that's where the opportunities were. But as we talked about before, as we go, Sam Moa, who's had an unbelievable start to the game, does really well there. And then again, just defenders coming from absolutely nowhere. Young lads working hard for each other and holding the ball up.
Yeah, Sam Moa looked as though he'd got that one, looked as though he was through. Ben Garcia, you might say, maybe hesitated a little bit. You cannot fault the effort. Broadbent there was in, making a challenge. And then Jack Walker, working his way out of the back. That is the kind of brutality we've seen at times from Catalan when they've really ramped things up.
Two aggressive players, Sam Moa, McAlorum, ripping into him, making sure that he's put pressure on, and then they play out wide. They do have a little bit more depth. I think Folau overruns that a tiny little bit, but manages to put on some really good skill to get into the corner. Each try they've scored, Catalan, hasn't been easy. It's all been pushed, it's all been a last pass or an extra bit of skill like that, where it's only a tiniest bit. It's a bit of luck, element of luck in that, but a great finish in the end.
Yeah, Tom Davis, the first of 3 fine finishes. That combination, Drinkwater, Tompkins, it's just that having that extra pivot, that player from fullback who can chime into your line but then play like a half. It's such a key weapon to have, isn't it? Invaluable.
It certainly is, and they are massive parts of our game. As the fullback is such a pivotal role within our game. The halfback, you think of your 6 and 7, but your number 1, your fullback, is just as important, if not at times, because they're the ones that get the ball on the outside where they've got a bit of space and they've got to make the decision, which literally will mean it's a try or no try. Maloney through the middle here in the wide ball, but that it's a poor tackle. He's got to make that, or he's got to at least hold him up and hope that he gets a little bit of help from the inside. He'll be disappointed, but I think his reaction on the floor, he realises that he has made an error. Again, they've had to work hard for it. I think going across that width there to the right hand side, that's probably the easiest try they've scored, and it's still quite difficult.
And one thing that they might look at in review, although we've moved on, it will be the amount of numbers that were around there trying to make an impact. So this is the moment where Mustafa got left on the floor. Catalan look like they're building something here, but then, there we go. Pickpocket. Fagan would have been proud.
Rhys Evans, he's in the middle. He's just sort of waving his hands like, Ryan Hall used to do this, where he can actually get in the middle of somebody between two players and also be able to back the ball down. RE7 does that. He just gets in the way of everything. So he gets in the eye line of the half-back, he's in the way of the actual runner of the ball, and then suddenly the ball comes towards him, and he just picks it up. It's a great read, and he had to do that again, as he's done throughout the whole of that first half, to disrupt the play, and it worked perfectly. But that is just like, these Garcias are ducks. They don't know what they're doing there. It's just the wrong play, the wrong ball, and he does great to finish that, and it shows a great turn of speed as well, and still got it.
Yeah, indeed, off the Bradford Bulls next season, but playing a big part for Leeds as they need all the bodies they can get in this 2020 season, a season in which upon the world has been turned upside down. This is the first little flashpoint we've had of a game. I mean, there's been a little bit of niggle here and there, but this was probably the only time where the temper levels sort of strayed a little too high.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's a part of the game. It's a contact sport, and the boys rip into each other. There's utmost respect there, but also you can't let anyone get on top of you as well. So this will happen at some point within the game. There's nothing really much in that, but what it does is actually change the tempo of the game, because instantly off the back of that, you got people, I think, right and ripping into him. And I think the first carry of the ball was Cuthbertson, and a couple of players just try and nail him straight off. But off the back of that, Catalan just worked harder. They ran harder and thought to find quick play the balls, and then off the back of it, they scored a brilliant try in the end. Again, they just had to work so hard. Sam Tompkins reaching above everybody, comes down with the ball. It's more, I'd say, it's more ARL. It's Aussie rules. He comes down with great grip there, and good defence as well to get to Folau, but just couldn't do enough for Tom Davis to go and slide in at the corner.
So that's the tale of the first half. We'll just see that again. Sam Tompkins, great leap, as you say. Definitely a little bit of AFL in there. He'd have called a mark there, wouldn't he? But there's the little dive from Davies. Finishes off the first half scoring. 16 points to 6 in Catalan Dragons' favour here. And we will take a little break now as we look at some of the best tries, the tries of the week from round 13.
No way through for Ashton. Cooper flings the ball back and Widdop is there. Here is Austin putting the step on. He's got away from a couple of defenders. Magnificent run from Blake Austin. Back on the inside. Wonderful pass. Jake Marmo. He manages to find an offload. Gelling is there. This could be a sensational Warrington try. Inside 7 minutes. Gelling puts the ball down.
It's anticipation, and he's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's using the force. I don't know what he's anticipating, but he's expecting something to happen, and it does, and it comes in the form of a break. And the way he tracks Blake Austin in his pass, I can't describe how difficult that pass is, and not to do it and not go forward. And then this little bit of an offload to Gelling, who's done exactly the same, anticipated the break and come up with a try. You can't coach that.
Here is Connor. That's a great ball now. Opportunity. Terrific play. Superb. What a try. What a fantastic try from Jordan Lane. You talked about Connor. Connor made it, but Jordan Lane there with the pace and the try.
Outstanding. I did not know he had this pace.
What if Castleford Tigers could have kept the momentum and the standard of play that they had when they defeated Saints?
Kenny Edwards in some space. Edwards on the outside for Wardle. Sanderson is there, but Wardle gets rid of him easily. Wardle steps on the accelerator. Is this the moment for Huddersfield? Not just yet. James Clare, desperate defence. They're not done yet, they're the Giants. Turner knows the space there, puts the kick in. Brilliant kick. Fantastic try. And a hat-trick for Jermaine McGilvray.
Well, here's the break, isn't it? Kenny Edwards finds the player with blistering speed, Jake Wardle. The decision to keep hold of this ball instead of forcing an offload is an important one. Jordan Turner, who puts the kick in and adds the sprinkle of stardust.
McMeekin, ready Castleford on the last.
Good kick pressure then, Huddersfield Giants.
Oh, it's come up brilliantly for Eden, and Eden is quick. What's the support like? Will he need it? Greg Eden has support eventually from Mike McMeekin. Oh, what a magnificent offload back to Eden. Over the top. And Sanderson is in.
Well, this is breathtaking. My jaw was on the floor from the moment that ball bounced. You can see, can't you? Cast Tigers, of course, there's no player on Mike McMeekin. He's allowed to pass that ball, whether the ball carrying arm hits the floor or not.
So those were the tries of the week for round 13 here at Headingley. It's 16 points to 6. Catalan Dragons leading the Leeds Rhinos. In the 125th year of rugby league, the Yorkshire Pros, a big rugby league fan, Armed Forces Rugby League International, has written a special poem in tribute to the greatest game.
Rugby league, it's a tough old sport, and these times are tough for us all. We've been through our share of adversity, we as backs pushed up against wall, and this time it's as tough as ever. Missing clashes when that white line's crossed. More than that, missing family, each other, and grieving for them that we've lost. But rugby league, this our league, has deep roots that are tangled and strong. It's the people within our sport that have been our strength all along. From Wakefield to Wathbrow to Wyre, and all the way back across to Hull. Community clubs and foundations, when they're needed, together they pull. Prescriptions for vulnerable folk, and dropping food off for them that's in need. And though we're apart from each other, we're united through our rugby league. Inspiration it's something we're short of. Late Steve Prescott, our Gret Van der Steel, Johnny Vegas, Scully and Foundations have been ultimate meals on wheels. For positivity in face of adversity, we can look towards Mossy Massoy, and for resilience, we look to Rob Burrow, strength he's had for his girls and young boy. We've seen it at home in your houses, as many rainbows Julie Andrews have seen. Kids' skills to play in the gardens, and Wagger, that lad loves his bin. And in time, when it's right and it's safe, I know it'll be brighter weather. Our league will be back with a bang, full of folk that are stronger than ever. The big hits, the biff and the brilliance will be back and be bursting from bottle. And Makinson, Charlie, Grace Johnston will be belting dark wings at full throttle. I can't wait to see what's Taylor Thompson, Dave the Feeder and rest at Big Boppers. Just to walk up to the club at St Village and watch with a pipe from outside, or to pull on my Royal Navy jersey and to captain Armed Forces with pride. We'll have PD and LDRL and wheelchair game back and all. Women's Super League back with a bang, all united through rugby league ball. But glorious gutsy among us, there'll be triumph and trophies raised high. And next year, that could be England, raising World Cup into the sky. And in future, in years to come, we'll reflect back on this time we've had here, and say with pride how our league stuck together in our 125th year.
Rugby League very much on its way back, as are the two teams here at Headingley. A spectacular, dazzling light show for the benefit of the very few people in the ground here at Headingley. It could have been a little better if the crowd pilots had been able to take place, but unfortunately the rising number of COVID cases has meant that has had to be put on the back burner. Hopefully we shall see fans back at games in the near future, but for the moment this is Rugby League's new normal, new rules, new law changes, new horizons, and at the moment lack of fans, and we're halfway through this Super League encounter. And understrength Leeds, with an eye on the Challenge Cup, have really fronted up so far. They've scored a point, they've scored a try, should I say, through Rhys Evans. They have 6 points to their name. Catalan have scored 3. A hat-trick for Tom Davis, but Earl Crabtree. There was a lot to be pleased and proud about in that first half.
Yeah, without doubt. I think as the coaches will send the players out for Leeds, I just believe that they need to work hard, keep working for each other, because they haven't come here, in Catalan's point of view, to win a game. You know, as in Leeds are expected to lose this with all them young lads, but don't make it easy for them. Don't give them that chance and make it simple for them. be a nuisance, work hard for each other, and enjoy it as well. I think this is a great opportunity, make the most of it. Whereas Catalan, I don't expect a bit of a rollicking at half time. It's a great chance as a coach to get into the team and make sure they do pick up their ideas, be a bit more intense, show that intensity, show that enthusiasm, a bit more aggression as well. It's just not quite where it needs to be.
So Leeds have possession. Really early phases of this second half. They're on the last, just inside their own half. Cassiano applying the tackle that time. McClelland has kicked really well in this game so far. He swung that one back towards the middle. It was an arcing kick, gathered up in the end by Tompkins, and they look to come away from their own line here through Davies. And that kick has just really forced those Catalan forwards, even in these first moments of the second half, to troop back into the line.
I'm a bit surprised by that, and I don't mean the actual set or anything. The actual fact that the Catalan players are just walking back on side. First set of the second half, you just have 15 minutes rest. Why the heck are you not jogging back on side? I'd be absolutely spewing again, and I don't know if that's just they think they're just going to get through this game, and this is probably what's going to happen unless they book their ideas up here. Is they're just going to get through.
Go through the motions. Joel Tompkins almost set away through a gap there. Shackled in the end. Maloney on the last. Bangs up the kick. Is a little too much on that, is there? No, he'll hang down right under Nuttall, who took that ball. Matt Whitley came in with a flying shot, and Leeds are going to be pinned inside their own end of the field here.
This is when it's exciting as a defender, when you've got them off on their own line. Leeds get away, a little bit of a high tackle there. Great play again, but Catalan letting themselves down. But that was a great opportunity for them to get up, ramp up, get into their faces and bash a few of the young players. It's a bit of a swinging arm, but Leeds get themselves out of trouble. But working hard again, it's an error by Catalan. This is great for Leeds, and they just need to keep doing this, forcing those mistakes and errors.
So it'll be the tap from the substitute, one of the interchanges, Corey Hall, Sheffield born, came through the Sheffield Hawks junior ranks. Enjoying Leeds from Wigan, where he had been part of the academy, wanted to be a bit closer to home. He's on the field now, offering his qualities at centre. As the Rhinos inside their own 40 here. McLennan moves the ball on short to Bodine Thompson. He's got a bit of a big fend on him there as he leaves a couple of Catalan players on the back pedal. Slowing down the ruck here. Thompson will play it eventually. Maloney was involved. Ferris out the back. Now they'll skip on the outside maybe here with the new man Hall. Hall flicks it off and turns to Nuttall. He'll crab back in field. He's maybe seen a gap here, and that's brilliant play from Liam Tyndall, should I say. Tyndall almost away. Tyndall still going here. They can't shut him down. Liam Tyndall. Tyndall's got support. Will he need it? Oh, he's scragged at the last. Devastating break from Leeds. Set restart to come. They're right in front of the line. Might it be a plunge? Might it be a plunge from Walters? He's held up.
Honestly, that would have been absolutely ridiculous. That would have been one of the best tries you'll literally see. Great play. He was never passing that though. He had two people outside. He was like, no chance, I'm going to step everybody I can see. And he almost gets away with it as well. But Lee's in great position here, using Cuthbertson through the middle. And he should have scored on the outside after that as well. A little bit more composure needed.
Harrison sets them into a position. Another set restart. Catalan will be feeling the pace here. Another penalty, this time for a high tackle. No set restart available this time. It wasn't a ruck penalty, but it will see Catalan have his man sent to the bin. I'm just looking to see who they've pinged here. Is it Cassiano? Sam Cassiano was sin bin in the game against OKR and made a similar plea as to his innocence. It took him a while to get off the field, and it's going to take him another while to get off the field again. So Catalan down to 12, Leeds with a repeat set after repeat set after repeat set. Fancy some points here, mate.
Yeah, I think so, and this is a great opportunity now. Again, I think it was the repeated infringements there which got him sent off. I think he's a bit harsh, to be honest with you, but Sam Tompkins, a penny for his faults, he's just looking perplexed while he's looking at the referee, but a great chance for Leeds to get themselves back into it. These are the chances you can't miss.
O'Connor waits an acting half. They've got big shape on that left side. This is where they go. Ferris provides the dummy run. They try and put Bodine Thompson on a crash ball. It's another penalty. High tackle. Sam Tompkins out of desperation perhaps there. They'll have another set of 6. They are burning through the energy reserves of this Catalan team. McClellan drops it off to Harrison. A rib tickler there from the Dragons has forced the knock on. And when they needed to, Catalan, they came up with the shot.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just a case of Leeds there with a bit of, it's a poor carry in the end, but they're getting themselves into good position, working really hard. McLennan it's been absolutely fantastic. But what about this carry? He skips across the field and he's looking for a chink in the armour, and it's actually McElroy steps in on the next play. Cassiano is slow to react to that, breaks through there, beats 1-2, he then skins the fullback 3-4, gets away again. Then he thinks, right, who else I can step? 5, 6, make it 1 more, 7. Who else can I beat? And he gets tackled right then. Probably should have passed it in the end, but what a carry that is from Tyndall.
Yeah, Liam Tyndall really showing the qualities. East Leeds Junior, he was the top meter maker in the scholarship group that he was in. No wonder if you look at that, but this is really costly from the Catalan Dragons. And it's really brewing again. Battieri taking exception to big Sam Walters there, and eventually the two teams are prized apart. The Leeds have the ball here.
He's a big boy as well. He made Battieri look absolutely tiny. But I played many years against Battieri, a bit of a gobby little player. But here we go again, just looking back on the inside. The ball goes to ground, a little bit of a flick there, back on the inside, and then just watch this.
Yeah, look at that beautiful step. We could see from up here, couldn't we? Saw that hole just seemed to sort of blow out, and there was Tyndall to try and take the most of it, make the most of it. Steps inside a couple of challenges, he brushes off another. James Maloney came from a long way to try and put one on him, and he just sidestepped him.
I'll tell you who'll be spewing with that Cuthbertson. He's run just to keep up with him after he stepped 55 times, and all he has to do is just pass to the left hand side with that composure, and Cuthbertson walks over the line. It's a missed chance in the end, but great skill, great footwork, and he's getting a little bit scrappy now. The weather looks a little bit better as well, but it's getting a bit scrappy. Tempers are flared. It's going to make it interesting, this, but Catalan, I think, is still pretty disappointing so far.
Yeah, it's one of those where it was really tumbling down. The floodlights have come on. It's only when you look right under the lights you can sort of see that angled rain coming across. But yeah, for the most part, it does look a little bit better, but it will still be greasing up that ball. So the conditions will be taking their toll. Bit of fatigue. A wet ball doesn't make for an inch perfect gain, and there you can see it. We're really tumbling down here, headingly in darkness now as the autumn nights draw in. Catalan get a set restart here. They're going to get on the front foot, but again, Leeds right up in their faces. Aggression on the right side of control from the men in blue and amber. Making their way up over halfway through Tompkins. McElroy onto Whitley. Whitley looking to punch some holes as he stopped 35 away. McElroy to Tompkins. Battieri hits the line. Looked for an offload, and eventually Harrison wraps up the ball. McElroy just surveying his options. Wants a quicker rook here. Maloney sees a gap through the middle. It was closed very quickly in front of him there by Cuthbertson. Last tackle 25 away. They'll come to the left now. Drinkwater puts some air on the kick. Tyndall comes through a crowd and took that very well. Not just a hot stepper, but showed a bit of confidence there as well.
Yeah, really good technique there. He gets up in there, jumps at the right time, gets his knee up to protect himself. But Catalan off the back of this, defending hard. That's either his tackle level, it had to be a penalty, dragged him over. Again, it's just it's almost like they're trying hard at certain points, but too hard in the wrong way, and they're making the wrong decisions instead of just making the right ones, doing those little 1%ers. They're trying to just push everything instead of trying to get the easy wins. You can't do that in this sport. You can't just go for an easy win all the time. You've got to work for it.
Yeah, you can't just look for that knockout punch. You've got to wear down your opponent. Catalan just at the moment on the scoreboard lead by 10 points, but It's a really close game in terms of the arm wrestle here, which hasn't at times been allowed to get into that arm wrestle, have we? And that's the problem.
Yeah, it's got really sloppy as this game. It's got really scrappy and it's a bit passive, and that's what it's going to take, a little bit of skill to do something special in this. And I don't know why, it just seems like a very tired game and the intensity doesn't seem quite there.
Cuthbertson, short ball onto Harrison. We're halfway now, Leeds. Tackles left in the bank. McClellan pushes it along the line to Thompson. There's almost an umbrella defence. Did Maloney play at that? What will Robert Hicks give here? You're saying that just came off his boot and that'll be a turnover. So Rhinos. So Catalan Dragons just winding up for this play. The ball 40 metres out. Ismail Folau is the man who will lead the charge. Half an hour left to play. Still very much in the balance, and first time I think we've seen Remy Casti on the field.
He should make a difference. He's the sort of player, ultimate professional, works really hard, no nonsense, get them forward. Can make the odd mistake, can push the offload, but I'd expect him to make a big difference with taking his team forward.
And he's done that now, up and beyond the 20. Lead by example player. Apart from a short spell at the Roosters, a one-club man, certainly in Super League anyway. Tyndall this time has to tap the ball dead. They found the pressure kick when they needed it again, Catalan. At times, it's almost like they wake up and realise the qualities that they have within their ranks.
It seems to be on the last play that they wake up. I mean, there's at least 2 or 3 tries off the back of a kick or just the last play. It's a good kick in the end, but everything up to that. I think it was Casti again. He makes 2 carries in that set where he just goes, give me the ball and let me ramp up into him. It's taken this long to get him on, 50 minutes into the game. That shows you McNamara was trying to rest him, and now he's gone, do you know what, we need you out there.
And he gets another carry, and again it's metres made, particularly after contact. A couple of extra ones just creeping that closer towards those posts. Ben Garcia almost shape-shifted his way through. He stopped just short of the 10. Picked up from Acton half. Set restart for the Dragons here. Short ball to Casti. Was that forward for McAlorum? It might have just drifted, but the referee, Robert Hicks, has no problem. His touch judges didn't have a problem with that either. It could have just been the angle for us. Drinkwater cut out ball. Fuad Yaha into the corner. Just a piece of magic there from the Catalan Dragons, and they extend their lead 20 points to 6. Fuad Yaha finishing in the corner, and that time he had it on the money, Josh Drinkwater.
Yeah, it's a smart play. He's skipped across the left-hand side there. He knows what play he's putting on. You know how the defence has been reading plays. They've been jamming the line. So every time they've gone to the centre, they've just jammed it. They've passed a little bit deeper here. Now it's just a flat pass. Boom, hit the winger. Winger has jammed on the centre, as he's done just about every time. So instead of going for him, he's actually just cut him out and gone straight for the winger on the outside, who dives into the corner. And Yaha slides in the corner, almost looks like he forgets to put the ball down. Does remember at the last second as he slides. Oh, there we go. Don't forget that part, mate. That's the important bit.
Yeah, it's not the NFL. You need to actually put it. You actually do have to touch down. And he did so. As you say, the line was beckoning though, wasn't it? Almost a bit of an embarrassment there for the France international, but he got away with it. And so Maloney again with another touchline effort. I guess it's a mark of credit for Leeds that when Catalan have scored tries, I know they've gone close through the middle, but they have had to go out wide. They have had to hit Leeds on the fringes.
The play is on out wide as well, but you use your middlemen to create space. So Samoa, for instance, through the middle, he gets held up, but if he gets tackled there, what he's doing is bringing defenders in, drawing them in, and that's where Rhys Evans has made these big decisions, and also the winger as well. Great
so another kick from Maloney. Top drawer kick from him, 22-6. This game is just creeping away from Leeds, as it well might. I mean, it's a real energy battle. What we would say is that whilst some of these lads are debutants and they are young and you know, they are fit and healthy in the sense of perhaps compared to other people, from a rugby league perspective, from a fitness perspective, some of them won't have played for a good year, 8-9 months now. the fatigue. It's being conditioned for match play and being conditioned for training are two very different things here.
Yeah, especially the middle guys, that's where it gets really tough. But also there's different sort of fatigue in games. Now I think Tyndall there on the outside, he's actually got caught into doing what he's been doing all game, thinking this is working, I'm just going to keep sticking to this. But as an opposite number, you'll be seeing that going, he does this every single time, and he does it there again. He's just been caught out by a smart play by Drinkwater, but it's taken that long to get to that point. It shouldn't take till 50 odd minutes to realise he's been doing this all game. Be smarter, that's all it is.
Catalan push it to that right side. Whitley, Tompkins even, should I say. Joel Tompkins dropped that one under pressure. He had Callum McClellan in his eye line, the halfback with the cropped hair. An intimidating presence perhaps there for even someone of Joel Tompkins' experience. Was a little unnerved on that occasion as O'Connor goes to Mustafa. Set restart for Leeds as they drive their way into the Catalan half, up over the 40 that time. Sloppy play the ball. Catalans will whoop and holler accordingly, but
I thought the referee were going to give him a little bit of something there, but it looked for me like a knock on. He's got to keep hold of that ball. We'll see, there's hands in the ruck. There's a lot of pressure there. He does well to keep hold of it in the first instance, and Sam Tompkins might have had a little... No, there's nothing in that. Nothing at all. I mean, he's put under pressure there by the players around the ruck, and it's just a knock on. He's got to do better. Again, the weather doesn't help that. But this is a part of coming of age, keeping hold of those balls, and you'll see senior players make the same mistakes, but eventually sort of cut it out of your game as you get used to it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that Mustafa and his colleagues. Mustafa has played for the Rhinos before in the Challenge Cup against Workington last season, but some of the debutants, it's their first taste of Headingley, first taste of the big time.
That's a better carry.
Yeah, and Cassiano, when he's on his game, is devastating, isn't he? And so are Catalan. Romano shuddering into contact that time, trying to test out that Leeds right edge defence. Tossed up to Busquets, who's come rumbling forward once again. Casti has peeled away to the right of the rug. He's pushing for numbers to go that side. Maloney with a long pass. Little wraparound play. Tompkins. Oh, that was almost a fantastic play. The ball just shuffled in front of Tom Davis and he was unable to draw that in. But that little wraparound just took 2 or 3 players out of the equation.
Yeah, it's a great turn-up play as he pops it back up. He's drawn the player in. I think Sam Tompkins needs to straighten up a little bit there. If he straightens up and then he makes sure that the defensive line can't slide out, and the ball then just wasn't on the money. It's a poor ball in the end, but great play. Again, they look dangerous on this side. Going to Tyndall's wing. I don't understand why they're not just peppering him all the time, because he keeps doing the same thing. He did the same thing again by jamming in. I think they'd have a lot more success by doing that, getting to a point, shifting to that side and just keep attacking it. If it works for you, go for it.
So Huddersfield lead Hull Kingston Rovers by 6 points to 0. Delayed kickoff in the game at the John Smith's Stadium. Your side from which you represented with such distinction have taken the lead. They've had a little bit of adversity today as well.
Yeah, unfortunately there's been a few people tested, a couple of staff and a couple of players as well, but obviously with the track and trace system it means a lot of other players have to be put in isolation as well. Oh, no, that's a shot.
Third Yaha making sure that Liam Tyndall realises he's playing Super League. Clever little kick there, brilliant kick in fact from Jack Broadbent. Can't keep his footing, he managed just to hack that forward before it dropped to the floor and was given as a knock on, but Catalan have come up with the ball. Tom Davis, and from the initial piece of ingenuity, I guess that's the one thing that kind of fresh eyes will see is sometimes those spaces you're less bothered about structure and you maybe see things a little bit more head up, but what we are going to see is
I can watch that all day, I love that.
Is the head up there from Fuad Yaha on Liam Tyndall. Oh, that one's a missed opportunity for Catalan. Are they going to shovel the man into touch? He just lost it on the slippery turf. And Jack Broadbent was scrambling in to turn that man into touch. And Fuad Yaha, I mean, bumpers up. Liam Tyndall, you won't be stepping me again. I think that was a message, wasn't it?
you know, fair play to him, he bounces back up, and that again, that is the beauty of this sport, and the players that are bred within rugby league is you get hit, that's what you expect, and you won't want it any other way. This is the game we're playing. He's put on that footwork and stepped 55 people already. That is not happening again. Get down and stay down, and that is the mentality of rugby league players. But Cassiano there shows a different side, where he's been playing really well in the second half here, big strong carries, and he decides to put on this little play to nobody. It's just not the right time.
No, you'll pick your moments, isn't it? I guess McClellan goes for the chip through. Catalan have somehow come up with that ball. They made a bit of a mess of the first attempt. I think they might have been pulled up here on the back of it. James Maloney's handling, letting him down on that occasion. They were almost away, or was he deemed to be an accidental offside? No, I think it's just a straight turnover, isn't it?
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a charge down. The ball goes up in the air and somebody comes down with it. Falau gets the ball, but I don't know where the knock-on came, but it's been seen somewhere within that. Leeds get out of that. You know, I don't think they deserved it. You know, it's a poor kick, and the last couple of kicks that they've done, and the little chip through, which looks really good, is a terrible play. You know, that's the one of those where your coach actually says, don't do that again. It looks great from, you know, a neutral's point of view, but it's a poor kick in there, and it's disappointing, and off the back of it, you put yourself under pressure.
Big scrag there on Callum McClelland. They've identified his threat, and they are trying to snuff it out at source here. Mustafa with a hop, skip and a jump before tumbling in. That was certainly a tip tackle. He's taken over the perpendicular. I doubt there's anything wrong with him, but he's in the wars tonight. He gets a tap on the head from Sam Tompkins by way of Joel Tompkins, should I say, by way of apology. But Leeds get the penalty, and immediately they've clubbed it to touch. And it's sometimes from these little moments, we saw those turning points in games, little moments where the kind of momentum swings.
Yeah, certainly, but again, you've got to do something with this though. They're getting to the points of the field, but keep hold of the ball now. Don't make those same mistakes before. Build a bit of pressure. There's still time to build pressure, but then make the most of this opportunity. Don't get these chances throughout the whole game.
O'Connor finds McClellan, plays out the back to Evans. They've numbered up well. Oh, it's a lovely step on the inside. Oh, they just couldn't quite make it through Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe close to the line though, and Leeds do have numbers. Evans is down in back play. You think he took a late shot. Set restart now for Leeds. Big scrag stops McClellan in his tracks. They've lost a bit of ground. There's concern for Evans. The clock has been stopped. Play has been stopped. It was a shuddering hit on Rhys Evans, who did smuggle the ball away. We're going to have a look at it here.
Yeah, there's a shift to the left-hand side. They actually create some really good play, and it's a good pass there. He gets hit off the ball, shoulder, Falau, but that's a missed opportunity. Again, it's a 2v1 scoring the corner. He passes that ball to score, so that's 2 tries, dead cert tries that they bombed in this game. You know, that changes the complexion of the game. Leeds are giving themselves a chance, giving themselves an opportunity to score tries, creating these moments, but they're bombing them, and maybe that comes with age. Again, this is something with a bit more maturity. He gets hit off the ball, that's a penalty, but 2v1, he goes into the corner. Leeds are a bit unlucky here. Now, these young lads are putting in a massive performance, and when they played a little bit more, they score those tries.
Timing gets quicker and sharper, and they understand the combinations, all those kind of little things that, as you say, develop over time. But they do have the ball here. Hicks has not been guided by way of a penalty, although Rhys Evans has gone off. So they made a change here. Within 10. Whiteley who's come on. Harvey Whiteley. Step from McClellan. Mustafa was in the defensive line. Almost pinged there maybe by Robert Hicks. Whiteley, it is who's come on. A little step that time from Broadbent. The 2 halves heavily involved. O'Connor just trying to work a bit of an option here. Bodine Thompson just clips that ball in behind, and it's hammered dead by Fuad Yaha. 19 minutes 37 seconds and counting on the stadium clock. The shot clock is on, and Catalan will have to drop out here.
That's one of those, as a coach, I think you clap that. You know, you're very happy. They haven't created anything where they look like they're going to score, but it's the next best thing, getting the ball back, put them under pressure, make them work out, get them blowing, because it's hard to defend. And I'm telling you now, as a prop forward, you think, oh no, I can't believe they've got to drop out, absolutely gutted. It's a great chance. That's a big error though. Little things like that, can't afford to lose those metres.
Yeah, now they're starting from halfway, and Harrison's lost the ball. Catalan, though, didn't really quite wake up to the situation. Maloney, thankfully, was aware for them. But Leeds have handed possession back on a plate here. After some good defence, admittedly, but at the same time, Harrison will be really disappointed with the way he's lost that ball. Israel Folau looking to skip out from acting half, using that big frame. O'Connor back into the defensive line, holding his face. They might pick that off. Instead they go to Casti. Casti runs at Harrison and then brushes away Harrison, and he needs Sam Walters to wrap him up. 3 around him. Still manages to creep his way almost to the 10. Now McAlorum, played by Maloney, onto Busquet. They're loading something up here, Catalan. Points might just follow here. It's a sneak from McAlorum as he lost his footing. He's still to be held up. Another really solid try. Saver there from Leeds.
Mickey Mack not happy with that. I think he thinks he's got the ball down there. He turns in the tackle, but it looks so dangerous again. Around the ruck, they just switch off a little bit. McLaurin goes to the ball. He slips. And he tell you what, it looks like he's got the ball on the line. Unfortunately, can't look at anything else, but puts him in a great spot here. Good leap in the air. And good defence. Leeds, well done.
Muscling up out wide, Tom Davis. He might have a hat-trick to his name, but he wasn't going to add to it there because Leeds were really committed. As soon as he came down at the tap back from Folau, we saw again that threat that Israel Folau has in the air. He's a player who... He's a tri-code player, isn't he? He played Aussie rules because he had that hang time, and we saw that threat, but we haven't seen that threat all too often tonight. Yeah,
I don't think it was the right kick, if I'm being honest with you. You're too close to the line. It's just hovering above. It doesn't give Lau time to sort of run forward and leap onto it in a forward motion. It's got to jump up in the air. I think the little grubber behind to try and get the ball back is the right play there. Still time to build that pressure. You're winning the game comfortably. You don't have to score off every play. And, Leeds hold on again. But Harrison in the middle of the field, he'll be disappointed with that. And I think as a coach, you've got to be kidding me. It's one of those that, that will come with time as well. Casti is been a massive difference to the team. What he does, ball security, makes the right decisions, and that again, it comes with that maturity and that experience.
And that little bit of inspiration as well. You see him carting one in, fearing, showing no fear for his own personal physical well-being, and it just gives you a lift, I guess, as well. You're that kind of player. Players around you would look to.
Yeah, I like to think so, and always had that respect for my own players. Kept hold of the ball. I didn't make too many errors, and I prided myself in that. And that's what you've got to do. Sometimes you just got to think, stuff it, I'm getting forward here, I'm working on, I'm run as I can, give me the ball and I will create something. It doesn't have to be anything special, just to quickly play the ball. That is just as important as an offload or anything else.
Drinkwater dabbing one in behind. Again, it will hold up. Tyndall with some work to do. He just hits the floor. It's almost like the armadillo player. I always think, like the surrender. They just roll up into a ball and say, tackle me, and then we'll start again.
You've got to do that as well as a player. Again, it's just ball security. Sometimes you wrap up and just make sure you don't lose that ball, especially in that position there. By keeping your feet, you're risking actually getting held up and driven back. Get to the floor, get down on the floor, keep hold of the ball and play it. That is the best play you can do there.
Luke Briscoe down. He just goes back to his feet. A few staff on. So a 10 points to 0 lead in the game at Huddersfield. Second try.
Luke Robinson must be absolutely loving it. He's a great character at Huddersfield, and given an opportunity now to go on and coach the first team as in head coach, and he could be free on the bounce here, which is great for Huddersfield and great for him as well personally.
Swipe downfield off the boot of McClelland, who's limping away from that one. Fuad Yaha meanwhile brings it back for Catalan. He is extremely direct in his play. Busquet and Casti just walking back into the line. Davis will take them up over the 40-metre line here. And they are rocking forward through Romano. Interacting half now for Catalan. They'll come through Moa. Moa's added his zip to the occasion. back on. He was had a really big first half. He's had a rest. He's had a chance to refresh and regroup. Drink water out the back to Tompkins. Have they worked a 2-on-1 here? Plenty for Yaha to do this time. Tyndall puts the stoppage on. Puts the roadblock in place. Now into the path of Drinkwater. He will pop that kick onto the goal line maybe. It's a good climb. It's a penalty for offside against the Catalan Dragons, and so they survive. 14 minutes to go.
Yeah, I would say Catalans look a lot more comfortable there. The big boys in the middle again, and Busquets, Caste, Samoa. So they've actually fronted up there with the middle guys. So they've got the biggest guys on basically on the field at this one point. Now what that means is that they can all ramp up together, work really hard and get those big carries and drive down. That's what they probably should, for me, they should have been doing this a lot earlier in the game. Difference is Leeds, in contrast, have loads of quick players, very good footwork, and if they work them over in the middle without making mistakes like that, they give themselves a chance. But Caste, first one to react, again a sign of his character.
Yeah, with a little step, Artur Morgay. He's a real talent. Played a bit of fullback. He was dropped into hooker a moment ago. He will play any of those sort of spine positions. He's predominantly a halfback, 7 or a 6, but we'll do fullback, we'll do hooker as well. Versatility in these Catalan ranks. As Morg plays flat to Busquets. Don't think he was expecting that at all. It was almost as if he snapped into life just as the ball came into his hands. But Catalan are within 10 nearly here. Drinkwater will play out the back to Tompkins. Tip on, another tip on, and that go forward. Oh, it did. And it brings to an end a really sparkling move. Such a shame from an aesthetic point of view that was chalked off, but Leeds Rhinos survive again, but some really slick hands.
Slick hands there, but again I think it's more timing. That the timing's not great. The wedge again, he just got to catch that ball there at centre and he actually strolls over it again himself, and again I think it's just a missed opportunity. It's a poor play, but Busquets in the middle of the field didn't expect that ball. They're just a little bit unorganised and just not getting to where they need to be. The timing's not perfect. They're doing enough to get through though.
Absolutely. 12 to go, and it's 22 points to 6 here in favour of the Catalan Dragons, the visiting team. As Leeds look to come away from their own line. Briscoe being held up in the tackle there by Tompkins. Little skip there from the interchange, Harvey Whiteley. Little shock of hair as he comes straddling forward. Harrison is wrapped up just short of halfway. What about the kick maybe now for McClelland? And he goes aerial, come down outside the 20 with Yaharu in turn. Again, just takes that ball in, hits the deck, takes the tackle, and Catalan can get themselves on their way again.
Solid set by Leeds getting out of their own area, but Catalan actually just look quite comfortable at the moment, but it does feel like this game's almost phasing out a little bit. Catalan have still got a lot to do, and Leeds can get themselves back into it. There is time with a couple of quick tries, but it's just difficult. Leeds just can't really find a way. The young lads are working hard for each other, they're not really creating that much threat, whereas Catalan just seem like they've done enough really, and they're just getting through it with the big players in the middle of the field are making dents. I'd expect another try from Catalan here, probably through a little bit of fatigue, and young lads basically just sort of, thinking that they've played this game of Super League and they've done enough for themselves.
So as we edge towards full time, 10.5 minutes remaining. I'm just going to prime you now, Earl, that at full time we will be looking to you for the man of the match. So if you want to get your thinking cap on in the last 10 minutes, you shall have the deciding pick. There will be a few candidates. A few hamstrings being stretched in back play there. A few players trying to avoid cramp as that lactic burn kicks in. The lungs will be aching and bodies will be sore. But they will have, all 8 of them, enjoyed their first taste of Leeds Rhinos action. Some a little more experienced than others. The likes of James Harrison played plenty of first grade at other clubs in lower divisions, and Leeds Forced into the error there on that far side by just some decent defence from some big outside backs as well.
It's a nice little edge option there, really, from Brett Ferris, and this is the sort of thing they have to try at this moment, trying to catch people off guard. Would you do that normally? Possibly not. Getting tackled in touch there is cardinal sin. Really disappointing, but you've got to do it. At some point, you've got to push those players, and we're seeing now that Catalan are getting more into this sort of end zone. Leeds are looking a little bit more tired. They're making more meterage, but then again, defensively, they're having a dig, and it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, Richard Agar did say the expectations from the coaching staff are kind of in accordance with the situation, which is he's got to name a squad to get the game played. He's not going to be strong or as strong because they've got a big cup semi-final, and thus, you know, whilst they don't go out to lose, they go out to win as well. There is an understanding that might well be the result.
Yeah, I think as a coach you expect your players to perform no matter what, and that's what they're doing today, and credit to them. That their offload by Catalan, mistake, great carry again. This is absolutely fantastic. Tyndall again, I think, is good footwork through the middle. It looks so dangerous, but it's the enthusiasm. And Mustafa again in the middle of the field before on the defensive set, ripping in, and that is all you want.
Almost went on the outside. Sutcliffe tried to take the offload. It was shovelled at him at pace, pinged off the chest of the centre. Good work down the edge by Luke Briscoe on that occasion. Catalan, did they run behind the back of their own player? Tom Davis deemed not to have taken any advantage of it, in the very least, but Leeds were certainly vocally appealing that one. But Yaha runs into contact, a big shoulder from Sam Walters. I think when they look back on the video review, I think Richard Agar will be beaming at some of his efforts.
I think quite a lot of the efforts of the boys, the younger lads, are just ripping in, and that is all you can ask for. Do you know, if they score a couple of tries, it doesn't matter, as long as you've given everything.
Tompkins, he was on his way there. The gap had opened up. He had the acceleration to get through it. He lost his footing on this turf. A big grooming cutout ball down to Busquet. Busquet thought about the pass. He might not be able to stop him. Has he slid his way to the line? I think he's just short. Last tackle, says the referee Robert Hicks. Baitieri fighting to force his way through. Leeds stand firm, and that will be another one. When they do the video review, they will look upon that moment. That was a really strong piece of play.
That is what makes the coach proud. Honestly, that sort of effort there, where he could have quite even given in there. They scored the try. You know, no one has said anything. Good effort. No, that was not good enough for them there. They've actually worked right to the end there, working for each other, getting back in numbers, helping each other out. And Busquets looks like he's going to score. I thought he had scored, and he got up. He realises his shot. But Sam Tompkins looks like he's going to break through. But there's numbers there. There's blue shirts absolutely everywhere. And Catalan have to do something special every time to break them down. Shift across here. There's numbers out wide. Busquets finds himself in a bit of space. Could have looked to tip on. It looks like he's just going to slide over there. But look at that. Unbelievable effort.
Yep, Sam Walters was almost riding him like a cowboy on a runaway bull. And does enough to stop him, and in fact Julien Busquets looks as though he's done for the game, because 7 minutes and 16 to go. He looks as though he's going to be withdrawn. It doesn't look in a good way. He's hobbling away from the fray. The clock has been stopped, of course, but the big French international Julien Busquets will be withdrawn, and they'll have to send someone on here with the Dragons. Well, B. Just trying to see who was on that far side. Who's trooping back on here? Remy Casti, the skipper.
Okay, mate.
We've got 7 minutes and 15 to play, plus whatever time in the red. But 7 minutes left of this one. The seconds ticking down. A little over 7 minutes to go. As Walters putting his size to use, 6'5", an awkward customer. Played just short of the 30. Infield it goes from Whiteley. Now moved along the line, Broadbent to Ferris. Ferris has moved out onto those edges where he was such a devastating player early, particularly in that Huddersfield team that you played in. He was a first-class player, an international back row of some quality.
He was a massive player for us, and got to England played for England, and he was unbelievable for us. And then obviously went on to Leeds and won the grand final as well, and just sort of disappeared a little bit. But great to see him having another opportunity again, playing out there, and he still looks very dangerous. But I'll be honest, I've been impressed with the lads in the middle of the field, the younger lads of Walters and McClelland. I think they have really stood up.
St Tompkins runs into the tackle of Mustafa, who came over the top in tandem with Louis McConnell, another one of the debutants to get his way onto the field. Head bandaged. Penalty goes the way of the Catalan Dragons. On a day of so many debuts, Earl, it would be remiss not to reminisce about yours. I mean, I don't want to make you feel old in this one, Earl, but Steve McNamara, the Catalan Dragons head coach, actually played in that game, and I don't know if you recognise that strapping young fella there.
Oh my word.
Yes, London Broncos, 13th of April 2001. Bit of a heavy defeat, but there were some big names in that Broncos side. Jim Dimmock, Jason Hetherington.
Right. I was 18-year-old playing a Super League for the first time, given an opportunity by Tony Smith, and I played 5 games that season as we got relegated. I did play against some big names and big players, and honestly, they wanted to kill you. I think the game's probably changed a little bit since then. They were very, very tough players that I had to sort of walk up against, but I do remember it vaguely.
Oh, and they've scored right at the back end of the game. The finish from Artur Morg, and that is his second Catalan Dragons try. He got his first last season, and he has added to his tally, and that well and truly puts the game beyond doubt if it wasn't already. Cruel on Leeds, but Morg will not care a jot as Catalan open up a 20-point lead here.
Yeah, it's a really simple try in the end, and I think that's just a lapse in concentration and fatigue and basically being punched in the face that many times. Eventually, you just sort of you get used to it and stop reacting to it, and that's what they did there. And the two wide, there's a player on the floor. He's called the dead marine there. The A defender next to him, and B too wide, so that just gives him space to run out. And it's a simple try. Everything else though has been really, really difficult for Catalan. Every try they've scored has been really worked for. That one was the first one where it was a simple try, a soft try as you probably call it.
And it's an easier angle this time for James Maloney. So Catalan, well in control. They probably have been set to win this one from the minute Tom Davies forced his way over in the corner. But you cannot fault the heart and soul of this young Leeds crop.
50 seconds.
Hopefully they will go on to have sparkling careers, as the kick from Maloney is a good one. And it's a 28 points to 6 lead. But when you look at how even a team full of Wigan youngsters who've been brought up in the the fashion of such an aggressive culture, taking on teams through the middle, they took on a Saints side that, don't get me wrong, this is the champions and they were almost full strength, but they were blown away with that landing of punch in terms of the scoreboard. This Leeds team have done a really good job against one of the most physical sides in the competition.
Yeah, and I'd put that down to a couple of things really. The fact that the Leeds players are very talented. They see how hard they're working here in the 77th minute. They want to do this for each other. Mustafa, I think, he's been sensational in this game, and he's been buckled a couple of times as well, which has been awful to see, but just responded to it. And that is sort of the determination, the quality of the players that they're bringing through here. But also I'd say Catalan have not been brilliant. They've just not approached the game in the right way, and made it probably a little bit more difficult than they needed to. It's 28-6. They're winning by quite a considerable amount, but they haven't looked like they have. They haven't looked like they're a million miles ahead.
Yeah, they're taking chances when they've come. Fuad Yaha back on the inside. Oh, and that Drinkwater might have bombed that, and he has. The pass wasn't superb. And so Leeds Rhinos get away with one again. 2 minutes 27, the clock's been stopped. And we are into the final phases of this game at Headingley, where it's been pretty torrential throughout. And credit in that sense that we haven't had a total knock-on-a-thon, a total error-strewn game. There's been enough excitement, there's been enough good play to back up any moments where maybe the weather has had an impact.
Yeah, sometimes with games like this, you know, they call them a washout, and that's pretty much what they are. You know, the weather has dictated the state of the game, but this hasn't been quite like that. The ball handling has been pretty good overall. It has affected the passes out wide, which kind of not ruins the game, but makes it take on a different sort of view. You look at it different simply because you've got to keep hold of the ball in the middle of the field and not make mistakes. It kind of ruins the how fluent the game becomes, but it's been fantastic, been good to see, and some great tries, a lot of bomb tries though. I mean, that has been a massive difference, including there by Drinkwater, who had a great opportunity. Dry weather, probably catches that and scores it.
He's a bit lateral there, but it's a smart kick through. Tindall was chasing, just shepherded away from that one. Corey Hall with the little kick down the line, not a lot he could do with that. A minute and a half left as far as the stadium clock goes. We are just a little bit ahead on our clock here on the Hour League app, where these Rhinos have been extremely brave with an underpowered squad. Plenty of youngsters getting their first taste. Israel Folau puts on a step. But, you know, some of the forwards will go away thinking we mixed it with Moa and Casti and Busquet, and you know, the back lines have, you know, they all have had Sam Tompkins scrabbling to tackle them, and Ian Tyndall's got the highlights reel that was his 55 steps. So there's plenty for these Leeds Rhinos players to build on. Catalan Dragons will gratefully take the points, should I say percentage improvement, which is brought about by this. They'll move on to 60%. It's an easy one to work out, that. They've played 10, they've won 6. Didn't even have to get the calculator out for that one.
No, it's good to say. I'm going to go back to Leeds here, and just seeing the little things that they're doing and the little things that the coaches will be happy with. It's just going to the 80th minute, jogging back on side there. Mustafa again, he made sure, even though it's the 80th minute of the game, he just kicked back over and he jogs back on side. I absolutely love that, and that's what you want to see. Those are the sort of players you want in your team. As Catalan make another break.
Tom Davis with the hooter sounded. Fuad Yaha to finish it off. A try which is a little cruel, but it just undermines the dominance in the end that Catalan have had. They were never going to come away without the win here. It was just the odds stacked too much in their favour. 32 points to 6. There will be the goal kick from James Maloney before we call time on this one. But Catalan, the fist pumps, socially distanced celebrations as they will head back to Perpignan this evening. Try to finish it off. Mustafa, just you felt the energy, that the tank ran down, didn't it there?
Yeah, it was great effort. I'm thinking you can see a staggered line here. That's the issue there. Tom Davis actually creates this. It's great play by him. Good decision to pass the ball there. But he's created that out of nothing, really. Skipped across the field and tired bodies, staggered line. Tom Davis picks on that. He's still pretty fresh. He's got plenty of speed, plenty of energy in the tank himself, and you could see that they were under fatigue. Skip across, look for a chink in the armour, and it created it on the outside after brushing a player off, and Yaha in a great position again, and he remembers to put the ball down straight away. It's a great try to finish the game.
So James Maloney to tie things up here, to dot the I's and cross the T's for the Catalan Dragons on a night where they have come away with a win against a Leeds side that deserves so much credit. Plenty of fist pumps between the two sets of players. There'll be some battered and bruised young bodies in that Rhinos ranks. Those ice baths will never have felt so good, and they will come away with beaming hearts and aching lungs. Earl Crabtree, it's finished 34 points to 6, sorry, here after the Maloney goal.
Yeah, I think they walk off the field here. They should have the heads held high. It's a great performance by them, great enthusiasm, and some great performances is in the sense from debutants, and that is huge. What they've done, how many they've had out on the field there, you'd have thought they'd been absolutely blown away. They haven't been. They've competed. They bombed a couple of tries. Great game from them. Hopefully they can all kick on from this, and hopefully we see these names going in the future. Catalan, a little bit different, not been brilliant, but done enough to get through the game. It's a tough place to come, no matter what. The weather hasn't been great. You've got to travel. I'd expect better from them, but it makes no difference. They've done enough to win the game. They will kick on, and they'll just keep improving anyway.
So who would your man of the match be then, Earl?
Well, through a game,
pressure.
through a game where I don't think anyone was a standout player, and a couple of people have been disappointing for me as well, like Israel Folau. I expected more from him. He's had a quiet game, but some of the young lads, McClelland, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Tyndall, that carry as well, but he's bombed a try at the end, although it was great footwork. Walters, Harrison, these guys have come through. Mustafa in the middle worked hard. The opposite side is Tompkins, I thought has been good. Romano, and players like that. But I think the obvious one, right at the end, I think that really made my decision, with a hat-trick and then an assist in the dying seconds, is Tom Davis.
Yeah, an explosive signing from Wigan. He had that terrible injury last year, double leg break. He's bounced back this season, so he is our league man of the match this evening here from Headingley. And let's have a look at the match highlights then, of which there have been plenty. Even in a scrappy-ish wet game. Here we go, let's have a look at some of these. Brilliant shape from Catalan. It took them a little while to find that rhythm, to find that shape, but when they did, Tom Davies making the most of it.
Yeah, Leeds made them work for every try there, and Tom Davis actually finishes it good. It's a great ball out of the back, and Tompkins puts the pass on, speculator relay. Folau just tips it on, and then Davis steps back on the inside. He's got a lot to finish that, and he had no right not to score that try. The defence looked like they'd done enough. They've covered the back, steps back on the inside. 3 Leeds players there in the end. Good finish, but they were made to work for it. That was a fantastic finish.
So there was plenty of really aggressive defence from Leeds early on, wasn't there? But as soon as Catalan started to find that slickness to their play, you know, Maloney chiming in, and you're getting Tompkins coming into the line as well, they started to clip.
Yeah, Maloney probably needed more of a mention there as well. He has looked after the team. He's orchestrated quite a lot of that. I think he could have been a bit smart with some of the players that they've done. He probably shouldn't have scored there. He's hit the winger there. It's a one-on-one. I expect Briscoe to do a little bit better there. He gets his shoulder in, but Davis stays strong, sets himself, bounces off, and then dives over again in the corner.
We were talking about mentality all the way through this game. Leeds could easily have folded under pressure. Mustafa there, left in a really bad place. Thankfully he was okay, but they came up with something.
Yeah, well, Mustafa was literally under pressure there. Quite a lot of pressure from Cassiano. But Rhys Evans, again, I should have mentioned him first half. I thought he had a blinder, but then went off injured, unfortunately. But what a breakaway that is. He reads the play, gets himself in the middle, makes himself a nuisance, which I think Leeds did to Catalan throughout the whole of this game. Again, Cassiano basically sitting on top of Mustafa, giving him a little bit of one to not the face, but getting into him. And then Rhys Evans reads the play, and that's a big play again. But Catalan, just not really very good there. Not great quality. Doing more than enough to win this game, but disappointing parts as well. They should have blown them away with the opportunities that they had.
They did manage another score before half-time, and it was almost right at the break, wasn't it? Sam Tompkins, the architect of this one, though.
Yeah, I think it's a great kick across the field. Sam Tompkins does enough to get up there again. He probably has no right to get the ball and come down with it and actually get an offload. It's great play in the middle, good defence, but the ball out wide, Davis picks it up and gets into the corner again. That is probably all Sam Tompkins. He creates something out of nothing.
Yeah, big towering leap. You mentioned it. It has shades of AFL about it, didn't it? The way he brought that down. And Davis getting his second try. Well, no, that was the hat-trick try, wasn't it, actually, to be fair? All in that first half. And this was probably the piece de resistance for Leeds, wasn't it? A brilliant break from Tyndall.
Yeah, and this is the beauty of a play like this. Good footwork, electric off the mark as well. Beating 1 defender, 2 defenders, 3 defenders, stepping back on the inside. And again, he's in the clear there. Cuthbertson is about a metre away. He'd be absolutely spewing. He should have passed that ball. And again, this is what happens, with these young lads. They come into the team, they can do some amazing stuff, great ability. And then sometimes the final product isn't quite there yet, but it will be. And if he can do this in a Super League game, I think he'll be all right.
He can learn to find the pass when it's there, can't he? That can be developed. But the natural skills there, the natural raw attributes of a player that Liam Tyndall has already shown us tonight. So Catalan on the back of that, they punished Leeds' profligacy, really, didn't they? A really big cutout ball from Drinkwater. And it's something you'd noted there that Catalan finally exploited.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they didn't do it more. I really don't. It's great ball. They have a little bit more depth that time, and Drinkwater uses that depth to be able to look at the defensive line, how they're reacting. He's reacted the same way every single time. He's jammed in. He's made a decision to come in, and then that's left him exposed on the wing. But it's a great ball by Josh Drinkwater because he nails it right on the money. Yaha just gets in the corner and remembers to put the ball down.
Morg with a little dart from dummy half. By this point the game had gone, but that was, you know, a try against a tired bodies, really.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They're all over the place there. There's one marker that's just getting off on the floor, and the space around the ruck is too big, it's too wide. If that was any other part of the game, you'd be spewing, but not at that point. But Tom Davis here, skipping across to finish it off in style, I would have to say. Mustafa covering back there. Great, and that shows you exactly what this team is about. And let's look at this great player there by Davis and Yaha, but look at Mustafa running across the back there. That is what it's all about, and that is what you'd be proud of from a Leeds perspective.
So full time here then at Headingley, where it's been a pleasure to work with you again, Earl.
Always. Thank you for having me.
Again, we've seen a really interesting game. Leeds Rhinos, as we know, we're always going to be under strength with that Challenge Cup tie looming large at the weekend. So they were underpowered. They did have a young side, 8 debutants. They have been beaten by the Catalan Dragons by 34 points to 6. Catalan head back to Perpignan with an improved points percentage, because obviously this year, in this strange and kind of topsy-turvy times in Rugby League, that's how the Super League is going to be decided this year. So in terms of the playoff places and that sort of thing. So my thanks to Earl Crabtree. As I say, it's been an absolute pleasure. The final score in this one, Leeds 6, Catalan Dragons 34. And before we leave you, we shall let you view into a lovely little piece of film which has been created in kind of tandem with Ron Seal, the long-term supporters of England Rugby League. They've been to Leeds to see how professional clubs like the Rhinos have led their response to the COVID crisis within the communities. Well, communities and Rugby League go hand in hand. There's a real, genuine kind of togetherness about both things. The social impact of Rugby League amounts to £185 million per year. And community-based social wellbeing activities have rarely been so vital at a time where people can feel so isolated. So this video is going to shine a light on some of the unsung heroes within the sport, unearth some of the heartwarming stories, and demonstrate why Rugby League is the heartbeat of so many local communities. That's professional and community clubs, foundations, personalities. They've all demonstrated outstanding commitment to the areas they serve. We can all be extremely proud of what's been achieved by this sport in such uncertain times in 2020. And here's why. Goodbye.
Difficult times, strange times.
The hard times refine us. Nothing pulls Rugby League together more than adversity does.
I mean, Rugby League is a game that was born out of its communities, and it's still the same today.
I love it. I love this club. This is my home.
I love the way it's so community spirited.
It's not just a game, it's a way of life, really.
The sport has given me my morals, my values, my standards.
It's a smaller sport, but a huge family. That's how I put Rugby League.
It's a character-building game, possibly the best character-building game in the world.
When coronavirus hit, cities up and down the country almost had their hearts ripped out. Rugby League was on the verge of folding. Ron Seal are proud partners of the RFL, proud of the values they share and the strong bond within the communities. The pandemic has shown us just how unbreakable the bond is between club and community. I'm here with Ron Seal today to speak to the fans, the players, the coaches, the unsung heroes who have shown just how special and great this sport is and how strong the communities are. I want to take us back right to the start of the pandemic. How close was Rugby League from going out of business?
I think all sport were threatened, obviously, and Rugby League, like rugby union, soccer, cricket, the impact to the sport and the business was quite traumatic.
It's been a real challenge. I think we're pretty close. I think that 16 million loan the RFL were able to secure were really important for the sport.
It was scary, to be honest, not having that game, not having the game you love.
Normally the community comes in here and watches the rugby team, but I think some of your rugby team have been out to see the community. So how's that made you feel as head of rugby, watching the volunteering going on from the players?
Yeah, massively humbling, massively proud. I think our sport has always been in touch with the bloke on the street.
With this going on, this pandemic, you know, rugby league have been so supportive to everything. But I've always said people go, oh, it's great. I said, no, that's the normal in rugby league. I said, don't matter whether there's COVID, it can be anything because rugby league supports the community.
What happened to the both of you at the start of the pandemic?
We were all going to be furloughed. It was just a bit of a shock really to us all. We knew that there were a massive void in the city of people getting food and things, so we decided to get involved with a lot of organisations, Jamie.
The best thing, I guess, was the fact that when we went to see some of these people who were predominantly vulnerable, we were quite often the only person that person saw throughout the whole week. So we were able to look at them, see whether the health had deteriorated, either mental health or physical health, and then report back to the people at the community centre.
For me, you've been an inspiration to thousands of people. How do you feel about that?
It's just my job at the end of the day. I don't take no pride in it because I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to. It's just a job to me, but to get the appreciation from people is quite nice anyway.
How did that make you feel, that recognition of the hard work and, for me, the bravery you showed over the last 6 months?
It is nice because it makes you think that you are doing a good job with that support behind you.
Brad, tell us what you were doing in the garden for your dad.
All my family's involved in the business trade, so I did a bit of groundwork with them. Dave Dwyer's garden got sorted out, did a bit of painting for him as well. That's a bit ironic that we got the Ron seal out for that. So yeah, it was good to just get put in a different out of your comfort zone and see how you do and how you react to it.
My favourite memory was making a video between Leeds Rhinos, Leeds United and Josh Warrington. All come together during a really difficult time, and I thought that's like the spirit of Leeds, you know, really honest, hard working class community. Quite often that's what I've heard you describe them as well. It was just wonderful to see that some of these sporting heroes in Leeds are still behind the local community. Rugby league gets into the heart of its core communities, some of the lowest socio-economically deprived communities within the north of England, and allows working class lads like myself to go on journeys. That allows me to play on pitches like this in stadiums like Wembley and Old Trafford and fulfil their potential.
We're in one of the most deprived areas within Leeds. We can turn people's lifestyles, you know, the things they can do through rugby, through this place. I think it's breathtaking, really.
My life revolves around rugby league, and it's just such a total 360 to what it was like 4 years ago when I just started playing, and I love it. I love this club.
The most pleasure I get is from the young ones. And when little Johnny comes up to me on a Sunday morning and says, Mally, I've scored my first try. Now, that gets going, does that?
The community is massive. You go down the street and people tell you how much they miss the sport, so the sooner we can get back and the sooner we can get, as I say, back in the community, back together, the better our sport will be.
When we have the fans back, I think it'll make everyone appreciate how important they are to this game and how important they are for us as players.
They're not bigger than the game, they're part of the family that we come to, and that's why we love rugby league, because we are a family.
It's when we're in times of adversity, when you see a sport come together, and like I say, I don't think there's a sport that does it any better than rugby league.
Rugby to me is family, that's it. Rugby is family, these guys are my family.
In 2020, rugby league's very existence was threatened by the pandemic, pushed to the brink of extinction. Today has clearly shown that not only has rugby league survived, it will be in a strong position to thrive in 2021, a home World Cup year. The fundamental reason for this is the unbreakable bond that clubs have with its local communities. This unique and special relationship, recognised by the government, is one that not only myself but partners like Ron Teal are incredibly proud of, and why rugby league is and always will be more than a sport.
We get underway, and it is great to be back. Looking for the gap.
Oh, what a cross there from Edwards.
One of the new rules for Super League 2020 for the restart. There are no scrums. 6 to go. Interference at the play the ball.
Another 6 to go.
6 again, the referee says interference at the play the ball. Look, Gale is away here. Ball goes out now to that far side, and Harrell will go for the corner.
Lovely hat from Zettea, and has Coop got that ball down.
You forget just how heavy the contact is between these sets of players.
And it's picked up there by McIntosh. Can he go all the way? What a try from young Donald McIntosh.
Off for the try line, and Walmsley gets a sensational try. He's left Julian Bousquet on the ground.
Gaskell with a long pass, McIntosh from the corner.
Maloney just glides through.